live. We're officially live. So we're going to wait till a few people get in. We already have a few viewers. Hello, everyone that's joining us today. I hope that you guys have your drinks. Okay, pour up. All right.
It's time.
It's time. It is time. Okay.
Ready.
So we're gonna wait a little bit, let a few more people get in. Hey Doris.
Hey,
Um
Doris. Oh, can
and
you
we're
see?
going to get it happen. Fatima, let me hear you.
Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah. I thought
Okay.
somebody was breaking up. Shade, is that you? You good?
Yeah, can you hear me?
You good. Internet, you good?
I'm good.
All right, y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So we're gonna wait a few more minutes. Hi, hey Trish, hey Chelsea, how y'all doing? Um, let's keep it going. How y'all day going? Y'all good? Y'all all spruced up. Antoinette,
Girl,
Fatima.
Antoinette already ready with the smoke.
listen.
I'm ready. I've been ready. I was like,
That sip she just took just gave me life.
This right here is yeah. This right
and
Very
see,
necessary.
I done went from mimosas to daiquiri to this. So yeah, it's one of them kind of nights.
I'm drinking a daiquiri I got from Louisiana. Oh, we gotta wait for that. I'm waiting for that part. But yeah.
Right, what are you doing?
We excited.
So bucked up over there.
It's the daiquiri.
Christy, you should be tired. You have had a busy day planning the birthday party. You should be tired. Um, what y'all do today? Well, I know Antoinette. Antoinette,
Yeah.
I need to catch up with Antoinette. I just feel like I need to.
I feel like everybody need to catch up with. So let me.
Okay.
I had brunch this
It's
afternoon.
straight from Louisiana, and I'm feeling it already.
Already.
Show just started.
The show just started. You know you're a lightweight, so I'm gonna.
Please don't say no more.
She
Please
coming
don't
for you.
say no more.
36 minutes.
I have a
That little nod already.
We
Don't
need
worry,
it
I'm
for
on my
this show. We need it.
All right, so we go. Oh, Tristy, she just sucks. Like everybody need a Tristy in their life. I swear.
Tristy is so dope. Can she hear
The
me?
most complimentary woman you will ever meet is weird. She rude and complimentary at the same time. It conflicts you sometimes.
How you see who in there? Oh, okay. Oh, hey, I can see the comments now.
I
I
cannot
know.
I just
Tristy is so dope. Oh, I love her.
a
Hey,
mess.
twin.
see his comments.
All right, so it's 6:05, so we're about to start.
Okay.
So hello everyone and welcome to Champagne Conversation Live. Happy freaking New Year. Okay, we have made it to 2021.
Yes.
I think that in itself deserves like a
Everything.
A clap
we
and a
did it.
clap and a
I think that in itself deserves like some sort of like, yo, we made it. 2020 was like hectic, hectic,
Very.
hectic. And I'm
Blessings
just
all the
hoping,
way around the board.
right. And I'm just hoping that 2021 is not like, hold on, y'all ain't see nothing yet.
like
I'm
2020
praying.
2.0.
Right, like,
I,
I'm
I
praying
think
that
this is the year of
I saw
grace
a post
for a
after the
lot of
stuff
people.
at the Capitol where somebody said this is looking real remnants of 2020. I'm like, nah, we're not doing that this year.
not doing that. Let the year come in first before we just already label it.
Celebrate the first holiday of the year, please.
A lot of blessings are about to happen for a lot of people with 2021. Like this is their year.
I hope
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
If y'all see me keep doing this, because I'm cheating and I'm watching the football game. So if y'all see me,
Girl, are we in the league? Please tell us.
period. Um, so we're going to start with the icebreaker. As you guys know, we love icebreakers. It breaks up, bring a little pizzazz or whatever to the conversation. So I already gave the ladies their icebreaker in the earlier today, so they can kind of already have the thought. And so if you want to join in, you can also join in the icebreaker as well and put your answer, your response in the comment section. Of course, you know that we read them as well. So the first icebreaker is what is your top 3 favorite movies of all time? Of all time, top 3 favorite movies of all time. I'm gonna start with how my camera is set up, which is Shay, and then we're gonna go Fatima and then Antoinette. So,
Okay.
so Shay, top 3 favorite movies of all time, all time.
So, Quiz, you're gonna meet me right here with this one. You know where I'm going.
Where are we going?
We're going Sister Act 2.
Period.
Already know.
Oh my God.
On the list.
Period.
Non-negotiable. You don't want me to
Non-negotiable.
quote it? Don't watch it with me because I'm singing every song and I'm come and join the chorus all the way through. It gets real. My judge. You already know. I didn't even go there because I sing every song. Sister Act 2. Yeah, my movies are so juvenile. Don't judge me. The Little Rascal.
Oh, that's a classic.
The 94 joint, that was my movie. Classic. I, Stymie, member of good stand of the He-Man Woman Haters Club. That's my joint. And also, I'm going to go, What's Love Got to Do with It?
Oh, that's a
What's
classic.
wrong?
I
I
mean,
Good
in a
one.
long time.
that's my joint. Now, mind you, it was between that and Love Jones, because you know Love Jones is classic.
Ooh, yes,
That's a classic.
So I guess it's 4. I'm cheating. So,
most definitely.
gotta do it.
What about you, Antoinette?
Okay, so I'm going to start off with Babs. I am a Babs
Ooh.
person. Like I literally went to like the theaters to see about 2 or 3 times. My cousin took me. So that's my all-time favorite, one of them. A Walk in the Clouds. I am crazy about that movie. And let me see. I'm gonna say A Low Down Dirty Shame.
Bruh.
Classic.
I
Yeah.
still laugh at that movie like it came out yesterday. I'm already a movie fanatic, so to narrow it down to 3 was really challenging because I am a movie
Yeah.
person all day, every day. Anybody that knows me know I love movies. So I'm gonna just say today that's my top 3. Tomorrow they
Yeah.
might shift.
Right today.
Right,
Okay.
right.
All right.
So this is so hard because I love movies and I would have to break it down in genre and have like a top 15, but I can't do
We ain't
that.
got time.
So okay, so y'all don't judge me, but one of my favorite movies is Mean Girls. I don't care what nobody say, period.
Oh my
That's
God.
some of Lindsay Lohan's best work. Okay. I also really, really love The Notebook. And one of my also favorite, yes, I'm sorry. I love The Notebook. I am a sap. And I really love Coming to America. I still laugh at that movie and can like say it word for word.
That's a classic.
And Friday. That's
Yes.
but it just depends on the mood I'm in, what answer I say. Like it's too many. I just can't say them. So yeah, that's that.
All right. I will go Sister Act because Sister Act is just Sister Act 2, I'm sorry. It's just I have 4.
Period.
I'm not gonna lie.
Non-negotiable.
Cinderella, the Brandy version. I will do Cinderella
Yes.
all day.
Oh,
All
I
day.
love.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't know this movie if you're not into classics and like black and white films, but The Bad Seed is an amazing movie. If you're really into like nature versus nurture, if you're born this way or is your environment dictate how you are, it is such a good black and white movie. It has a lot of socialism in there. It's a lot, but it's such a freaking good movie. And my honorable mention, and I don't think anybody ever cares about this movie, but I am a fanatic of it. Just Right with Queen Latifah and Common.
Oh, you love that movie.
I'm so happy you
Yes,
said that.
absolutely.
No,
That
you love
is like Sasha, yes, The Bad Seed is so good. But Just Right, nobody really cares about Just Right, but
Girl,
If
I
you was
love
there at
it.
my
I would
birthday,
I
watch
love
it on TV, on DVD, wherever. I love it.
I love
I love
Just
that.
Right.
too. I love
Rhoda,
I just
yeah,
want
Rhoda
to
was
see
a
but
little,
like, I believe her.
Rhoda was evil. She was an evil little thing. Like, she was evil. Okay, next icebreaker. Y'all ready?
Yes.
Mhm.
Another
What album can you play from the beginning to the end on repeat? Like, it
Mm.
would never, you would never stop playing it.
So you really gonna go there?
This is
Right.
hard.
Because
Okay,
you
so
so
I'm
a
gonna
lot of them.
start with Fatima, then Antoinette, and then Sasha, and then I'll close.
Okay, so first of all, that was also hard, but I'm gonna have to just say this: Lauryn Hill, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, have to be one of my favorite albums of all time. And I'm gonna have to say this because I don't care. I gotta say it because it's my main. But I love J. Cole, and it has to be J. Cole 2014 Forest Hill Drives. I can play that album from beginning to the end, don't stop, and I can say all the words literally. That's
Yes,
gonna be two for me.
period.
It's a whole lot more, but I'm gonna just stop right there.
Right.
Let's see. For me, I'm already a music fanatic. I'm an old school person. I'm it's like an old soul. But I have more recent albums that I chose for today. One, 7th Street, A Girl Disrupted. Fatima actually put me on 7th Streeter. And I
That's
have
my girl.
listened to several of her
Mm.
albums, but
Love
that
to
Girl
be-
Disrupted, girl, I can play that
People sleep
over
on
and
her.
over.
People
And she's really
sleep.
underrated. I love her albums. I love her style. Another one. This is my boo, and he is from my hometown, August Alsina. This Thing Called Life. I love that album. There were also a lot of songs that really spoke to life and what's going on in society today, and I don't think people really just kind of paid attention to it. So, yeah, I actually took the time to listen to his album and what he was saying, and I liked his message in the album. And Sammy, I'm him. Booby getting me a little, when I listen to that album.
Destiny is the quiz album too.
So those are like my.
Y'all so cute.
I have more,
Yeah.
but those are like 3 albums that I really do like, and I can listen from the beginning to the end.
I'm him snaps.
Yes,
Snaps. And a lot of people don't know about I'm him, but I'm him snaps.
I'm him
yes,
is everything.
I'm gonna have to go
People
give it a
have put that
listen.
album out for like
it's a good
years
album. It
straight.
really is. It's like grown man Sammy. It ain't that cute little boy. This is grown man Sammy. Right?
Mm-hmm. He talking that talk.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yes.
And I love me some Sammy.
He's a little
Me
short
too.
so. Shay, what about you?
So, I mean, this is hard for me because, like, y'all started with movies. I don't watch TV. I'm one of the people that don't watch TV, but I will listen to music from sun up to sundown. Like, that's my thing. Always has been. So if I have to pick, it's very, very hard to pick, but something that I know from top to bottom I won't skip actually is Who is Jill Scott Volume 1. I will play that album from the rooter to the tutor all the way through. That's my girl. It's some vibes on that. It's just like, I don't know. It's my girl. She was talking that good talk to, Jill about her business. She don't play. So I can listen to that, of course. Now, but something more recent that I really enjoyed, because everything I love is all my friends call me elderly music-wise all the time. But I actually really enjoyed Ari Lennox's album, the Shea Butter Baby album. I really enjoyed that.
Okay.
I'm like a playlist person, so I'm gonna include one more for the culture and Apple Music people. Y'all will feel me on Anita Baker Essentials. Like I need all of it from my country.
That's a good one.
So those are my choices. But Fatima, I feel you on that J. Cole also.
Yes, Forest Hill Drive, gold, classic.
Listen.
Double platinum, no features.
I'm gonna have to go with, of course, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. I think that's one of everybody's classics. And then, of course, I'm gonna have to jump to Beyonce because Lemonade, that
I
album,
said that earlier.
okay,
Come on.
Lemonade, that album,
Lemonade
Like-
better come through.
I felt her. Do you hear me? Like
Every song, the visuals, every song, bro.
I can't.
Everything.
I
That all
can't.
night alone.
I
All
can't.
Night
Damn.
Long is one of my favorites on there.
Okay, and then I'm gonna have to do my girl Fantasia, Free Yourself album.
That was a classic.
I love that
College, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I love that album.
Mhm.
So, yeah, this makes me want to.
Those are hard.
That was hard. That was
Yeah.
hard. And then,
Yeah,
of course,
it was
every
hard.
Wale
'Cause I
album.
feel like I
Oh my
forgot.
god!
Oh
Like
yeah,
I love me some Wale.
Oh, the Wale much to do
Yes.
about this, much to do about nothing.
Yes,
Yeah.
so good,
I can just
so good.
Mhm.
So okay, let's move on because we could talk about this all
That's the
day.
one with him and Marsha Ambrosius on this. Oh my life. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
So, Marsha Ambrosius. Okay, anyway, that's new album, fire
Right.
as well. Ariana Grande album, fire. If you have not listened to it,
I have to listen to her album.
it's really good. The one that she just dropped. But okay, focus. Back here. John's so silly. Hey Taurus. Okay, so let's get into what everybody's drinking tonight. So we're gonna start with Antoinette. Antoinette, what you drinking tonight?
Girl, where you want me to start at? What I'm drinking now, what I started with.
Let's go where we at now. Where we are now.
I'm drinking some wine right now, some pink Moscato.
You could tell you had some harder stuff earlier. You
Girl, I did.
had some harder stuff earlier.
Live your life, boo.
I'm
Live your life.
I had my daiquiri.
Shay, what you drinking?
I'm currently on a margarita. I don't know what's next. And it's in my wine glass because I'm feeling fancy. So let me live.
Be who you are and be your best self. It's fine. What
My
about
best
you?
at all times.
Okay, so every time I go to Louisiana, I have to stop by the New Orleans daiquiri shop, and I got me a Victoria's Secret that I bought home, and so I'm drinking that out of my little Savage cup because this was a gift because they said that song describes me. And when I finish that, I'm going to finish it off with my Sweetwater Red. It's very high in alcohol, so I love it. It does the job. And there we
She ain't
go.
gonna get there.
So we're gonna pray that
You know what,
Fatima
Fatima? That's what's next on my list. I got white over there.
I am drinking Cedarburg. I don't know how to pronounce it. It was Buckaroo. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it is amazing, and it's from South Africa. It's a South African wine. Hard to find, but like a really good. I won't call it an investment, but it's really good.
Leave it to sister from South Africa.
I can't understand what you're saying.
Who, me?
I couldn't understand what you're saying.
I said leave it to sis to bring a wine from South Africa. You better represent.
Your is it just me or your thing is like off? Like your words and the thing is off. Is
I
that just
don't
me?
know. Am I like delayed?
Now you're better. You're better now.
Okay.
You back? Welcome. Why is she frozen?
No, I was trying to figure out what was going on. Okay.
All right, let's move on because I don't know what to say. Okay, way more issues than I was expecting. So okay, so we're doing today. We're doing the Toxic Mother episode, and for me personally, this is the episode that is probably the most personal episode I think we've ever done. This episode was suggested to me to do, and I was asked not to do this episode, and I think everybody on this platform was asked not to do this episode, and so we was like, we're gonna do it even more now because people don't want us to talk about it, so we're going to go there, and so. We have built a community here on Champagne Conversation where it's honest. We don't do political correctness. We shoot straight from the hip. As long as we do it in a respectable way, we're gonna go there. So that's the thing tonight. We're gonna go there. This is a safe space. This is a safe and reliable, no judgment space. So what we're not gonna do is be disrespectful. So if you don't agree with the experiences that is going to be spoken on tonight, you are very much well indulge yourself to exit, and that's just on period. Because I have no problem blocking you as well. Blocking is real, especially when you talk about what we talk about today. But if not, if you want to be open and honest and transparent with your experiences and experiences of the people that's going to be speaking tonight, then please join the conversation. Just love us for where we are. Um, so I did want to give that disclaimer just so people are clear on where I stand, and where the podcast stand in general. So we're going to move forward and we're going to talk about toxic mothers. And I before we get to that, I want the ladies to introduce themselves. We're going to start with Shay, then we're going to move to Fatima, and then we're going to move to Antoinette. So Shay, the floor is yours.
Hello, beautiful people. I am Shay Weeks. Let's see, high school friend of Sequenz's on through, of course, adulthood. I am from Memphis, Tennessee, and I'm just here to tell my story. Honestly, I'm here to shed light and bring truth to things that we all are maybe aware of, but don't often discuss. And I'm just kind of here to bring a little light and a little love and a little truth to y'all from the heart. Can't be no realer.
That's one for you.
Love it.
All right, Fatima, you.
I am Fatima Barnes, and I will consider myself a Calicipian because I don't know which one to say, but I'm originally from California, but I am truly a Southern girl from Mississippi who lived in Memphis for the last 8 years. I have been friends with Sequest since we have met on the campus of the Jackson State University. And yeah, like Shay, I agree with her. Here to shed light, address things that many people don't talk about, don't speak about, and this is a tough thing to talk about. But I think it's time that we really do it. So I appreciate you guys being willing to listen to our stories.
Okay. I am Antoinette Washington. I met Sequez through Fatima. I too went to Jackson State University, I love. And New Orleans is my birthplace, but I have lived all over, too many to even name. Um, and my aunt always tells me that I have a story to share. I'll share it with some people, and then some people I don't. And this is one of them times where I'm open and I'm willing to just shed light and just be informative to other people and just be open and honest with what's going, on with other people as well. We're not the only ones that have experienced this. So hey, shed some
Yeah.
light.
Yeah. My name is Sequez, born in New Orleans as well. Um, we all went to the Jackson State University. And I'm currently in Nashville, Tennessee. And yeah, so this episode, we're going to just speak truth to power. And we hope that we, share something with you guys and you guys share something with us and we can have true, authentic conversation, right? So please feel free to comment in the comment section what you're drinking on tonight, how you feeling tonight, if something is said that resonates with you or your experience or whatever, that's what the comment section is for. Now, usually our comment section would be like all types of in shambles. So I don't know what to expect this time, but we're gonna see how it goes.
Where is
All right.
Swiffer?
So let's start. So my question is to everyone. When did you know that your mother or the relationship with your mother was toxic? Like when did that come to your mind? Like, yo, like this is really unhealthy, or I had a really unhealthy childhood.
Who you start with?
Whoever wants to jump in.
Okay.
For
I,
me, you going next?
I go. Early. When they tell you that children don't forget anything, that is absolutely true. Because I can go back in things that happened from when I was 4 and 5, and I'm 32 now. So to even remember that for it's like something had to really happen that was traumatic or significant for me to remember, whether it was negative or positive. I knew that my relationship with my mother was toxic and unhealthy when, like I said, I had to be about 5 or 6 when my mother would leave me on the doorstep and be like, your daddy or your papa on the way. And I witnessed her get in the car with her boyfriend at that time. And my daddy and my grandpa always showed up. But I was a child that was left on the doorstep and was told not to leave until they get there. And my daddy and my grandfather would come get me, and my mom would already be going with her boyfriend. So did I know that terminology, toxic and unhealthy and negligent? No, I didn't know that. But I knew that what she was doing was definitely not correct. And it wasn't something that a mother should ever do to a child or children. So I knew early on what was going on in my life. And then, of course, I would hear adult conversations. But the terminology at that time, I didn't know. I just knew it was wrong. And it most definitely was not right or healthy.
For me, I will definitely
I'll
say.
jump in.
Oh, okay, sure.
Go ahead, Fatima.
Okay. So for me, I think when I really realized it, I was about 16, 17 when I really kind of started working my first job. Is when I actually realized like, I mean, I already had different feelings and resentments just because of our backstory. Like she didn't raise me all the way through, right? I lived with my grandmother for a big part of my life. So I would say about 16 and 17 was when I really realized that our relationship wasn't the healthiest, and I actually moved out. I haven't really lived at home with my mom. I think officially I was out by 16, 17. Um, before I really realized like, okay, this is not healthy. This is not what's up. Like we just can't. So yeah, I would say about 16, 17 for me.
What you were saying, Shay?
Um, I feel what Antoinette said as far as knowing that something was wrong, but not having the proper terminology for it as a child. Before 10, I knew that my feelings were hurt more often than I felt was normal. But I think when I really realized that it was something wrong and not just me feeling like I was being too sensitive was probably after I had my child at 21, my daughter. There was just things that were done and said that I knew once I had her that it's like it clicked. That wasn't right, and that's not what I want to do. That's not how I want to be. So it was at that point when I started separating what I was used to, so it felt normal versus what was actually right. So I had to separate that way. So I'll say 21, where I really, really knew.
Wow. Um, and so when coming to the realization of like, wow, like this is not normal, or this is not healthy, or this is off. What I know, Anthony, you said you realized like at such a young age, but like more now looking in your adult eyes, what was your natural instinct? Like, how did that when you realized that it was not normal or something is off? What what translated for you? Like, how did you approach that? There's something different, that this is not normal when it comes to my mother. How did you approach that? Like, did you start acting different, or you started distancing yourself? What was your natural instinct?
Um, at that age, you become numb. Some children might think it's normal, some might not. For me, I knew immediately it wasn't normal. But because I had my dad and my grandfather always to my rescue, it was kind of like whatever. I automatically went numb. I knew what to expect. I knew what to do, what not to do. And I would literally sit there with my little backpack and be like, "Oh, my daddy come and get me. I know he got me." And that man always came through and he got me. If it wasn't him, it was my grandfather. And I would hear the conversations about them being so frustrated, like that be this be that. How could she? Like I heard those things. I remember them conversations as a little girl because, of course, they knew that wasn't right and that wasn't safe. But in my mind, I'm like, Papa got me, my daddy got me. It is what it is. And I would literally just sit there and wait on them. Like I knew they was coming. I knew they weren't going to let me down. And because I knew that, it's like I got accustomed and immune to what she was doing. And I had no business getting accustomed and immune, but that became my normal. That became my environment until my life shifted. And then I moved somewhere else. So it was normal to me. It was wrong, but it was normal. But because I still had that safety net And my two rescuers, it was like whatever to me, unfortunately. But at that age, it was whatever. As I got older, that's when things changed with my attitude, my mind frame, my body language.
Okay.
So for me, okay. I didn't know if Shay was getting ready to. So for me, I felt like I didn't even know my mom when by the time I came to live with her. So for those that don't know, I mean, I basically lived with my grandmother in California till I was 10. And when I moved with my mom at the age of 10, I felt like this was somebody I didn't know anyway. Um, I just felt like, I knew that she would send stuff and I knew I would come stay a few weeks out the summer with her, in Mississippi throughout the year, but I really didn't feel like I even knew her to begin with. And then as time progressed for me, what I did is I always was taken in by my friends' moms who would, especially a friend of mine whose mom was like I called her mom, like that lady to this day. Like I love her through and through. I always feel like I retreated to other people's homes. And before you knew it, I was never at home. And I think that's just kind of how I dealt with it. And I would be gone for weeks and weeks at a time, even as young as middle school, early high school, staying with my friend and her mom. And before long, I moved out the house at 16, 17 in high school still and moved in with my friend and her mom. And for me, I would go home and I would visit every now and I would go and stay for a few weeks with my mom in their house or whatever. But I always retreated and stayed in a space that I always felt comfortable. And I feel like with my friend's mom, I always just kind of felt like at home, and I felt like I got that motherly kind of feel that I would have wanted at that time in my life. So for me, I always retreated somewhere else. And I mean, I would barely be at home, honestly, even at that younger age. Like, how do you account for your daughter staying with her friend for weeks and weeks at a time and then coming home every now and then and going back? That's just what I would do, honestly. That's how I dealt with it, um, was to leave personally.
Wow. What about you, Shay?
Um, a lot of my dealing, honestly, was shut down. Um, like people say, I would just kind of eat a lot of it. Uh, I've always been one that talks too much. I was never like attitude and sassy, and I wasn't never that child, but I just used to talk a lot. I was a ball of energy. And if there were a moment where I was made to feel small or made to feel bad or whatever, my thing, I guess I used the same word Fatima used, was retreat, but I was with myself. I used to write songs and write poetry and doodle and stuff like that. I guess creativity became an outlet because I felt and I feel hard, and I felt and I needed to do something with those feelings. I was putting it somewhere, even though I wasn't able to pinpoint what the feeling was or how I felt or whatever. I just knew there was something in me that needed to be done with. I need to do something with it. So I would either shut down and just eat it and sweep it under the rug and act like nothing was said to me and internalize, or I would go write something or draw something or make up a dance or something like that. And that was the best thing I could figure out how to do at the time. Because like I said, while I realized that at 21, I was feeling it as young as, below 10. So I wasn't in touch with emotions like that. I just knew I felt them.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty much it for me.
It's amazing how like in tune you are as a child than you are when you're an adult. I think when as an adult, like when you're a child, like you feel things. You're not, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. But when you get older, you try to protect those feelings so you don't feel as much. And so even if like Fatima ran away, Shay shut down, Antoinette became numb to it, at some point you felt that. And then as you grow older, it was like, okay, I don't know what to do with this, so I'm going to go to this outlet. You know what I mean? I think that's pretty interesting. And so I was doing some research about toxic mothers and the characteristics of toxic mothers. And it was like a test. And so it was like if your mother has, like, because I think one thing about it, we all have toxic traits. It's just how extensive are those traits. You know what I mean? Like we all have, selfish tendency. We all have it, right? But it's just like how extensive are those traits, and how do you let them like snowball? And so the characteristics that they came up with is, and all toxic mothers kind of for the most part fall in some of these categories, one or all. Constantly critical, criticize everything that you do. Nothing is good enough. The control freak, the one who wants to be constantly in control of every single thing. The guilt tripper, like the guilt tripper or the manipulator. They manipulate situations to make themselves look better or make you feel as if you're not doing enough. The humiliator or the sabotager, where they publicly embarrass you to make you feel lower than yourself. The passive aggressive, which is probably like the one that I can't stand the most. I can't stand passive aggressive people. Like it just really irritates me. The disrespect personal boundaries, like boundaries does not exist to them. Like I am your mother. Like what is a boundary? Like I'm your mom. Shay is really blowing me. I say disrespectful, and the one is like they act like you are their best friend, and so they use you to put all their emotions and feelings in. But when it comes to reciprocating those emotions and feelings, they are unavailable to do that. So out of all the characteristics that I have stated, do you think that your mother fall in some of those categories, or is some of those categories familiar to you when it comes to the relationship that you have with your mother?
Absolutely. For me, the boundary one, and the manipulator, in a sense of like, I think it was talking about the guilt tripper.
Mm-hmm.
That those two for me, yes, absolutely.
And I want to add one more into that. I want to even add gaslighting. I think gaslighting is also can be a characteristic of a toxic mother or individual. Do you
Absolutely.
feel like you can relate to those?
Yes, that gaslighter too. Those three for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What about you, Shay? Which one
That
relate?
gaslighting,
Uh-huh.
honey, that gaslighting is one. The control thing is one. Oh God, there was another you said where I was like, that's it. Oh, what was it? It was one of the first two or three you named. You named a few of them, honestly.
Embarrassing, humiliate,
Not embarrassing.
passive aggressive,
Not
best friend,
Right.
guilt tripper, constantly critical.
There we go. They're constantly critical. They're constantly critical. But the thing about it is that it was made to, I'm trying to better you. I'm telling you ways that things could be better. I'm telling you things that I've been through. So I'm helping you. I'm showing you things that could help you farther in life. But the thing is that my way of things, although it may not have been the best way at the time, it wasn't necessarily wrong, but it was wrong to her because it wasn't her way. That's how I felt. If it wasn't her way, it was, why are you doing it like that? They don't look right. They don't look right. You look a mess. They look stupid. Why you got that on? Da, da, da. I'm finna go out with my friends and I think I look cute. And I come downstairs, you look a mess. Okay, well, now I feel shut down. Now I feel my feelings are hurt. Now I don't even want to go no more. I value what you say and I value your opinion because difference from Fatima and Antoinette's relationship. My mom and I weren't like this. We weren't arguing. We weren't into it all the time. That was my boo. And I'm saying, well, still is my boo, you know. But you know how you live and you learn people. as an adult, you see one side of somebody who you didn't quite see as a child. Looks a little different. So yeah, a lot of those characteristics hit, and I learned as an adult the names for them and what they looked like and what they sounded like and what they felt like, especially when I had my child. Feelings get hurt a little more easier when it comes from somebody who you look at like, they hang the sun and the moon. So why I gotta be made to feel bad for not being you? So.
What about you, Antoinette? Does any of those characteristics resonate with you? You unmute. Hold up. Oh, sorry. Oh, wait. Crap. Dang it. Go ahead. All right. Go ahead.
It must have been a reason I was on mute, baby. Oh, the number one thing that stood out to me was boundaries. My mother, it's like a yes and no because I was around her on and off, on and off. And the times I was on, there's definitely no boundaries. I don't even think she might know what that means, and definitely probably does not know what it understand. I felt like she wanted a sense of control to where she wanted to turn me against my father and wanted me to be team her. And I wasn't choosing, but at the end of the day, she left me no choice but to choose because my daddy always came through. He was there to the day he passed. That man was there. That was my rider. And anybody that knows me and my daddy know that I'm gonna say like this, that was my nigga. I had a father who was there. When that man messed up and made mistakes, that man would look me in my face and apologize and say, I am sorry that I didn't do what I should have done. I'm sorry that I wasn't a better father. My mama in denial and can be manipulative, but because I knew her characteristics and her traits so early on, it wasn't easy for her to manipulate me. And I think she didn't like that because she couldn't manipulate me. She couldn't control me. Them boundaries definitely still not there. I've had to set boundaries at my later in life, but that manipulation, that control, she tried, but it didn't really work.
I see Dion comment, and Dion, you are ahead of the game because I have that in one of my lists, but we can go there now. How do you think your relationship with your mom has affected how you interact with other people as an adult?
Oh, I want to start that one.
That was a good one. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Shay.
My mother and I are different. She is much more direct and verbal and straightforward in her feelings. I, on the other hand, hate confrontation, hate arguing, hate being combative at all with people. So to see her be so rah was, for lack of a better word, unattractive to me. So it made me even more passive in my approach, even more soft-spoken and guys, let's just kumbaya in life. So what that has done is, in a way, messed up my confidence because I'm not going to speak to you with my chest. I mean, I will. Don't get it twisted. I will. But it took me a while to get to this place. But for a long while, I couldn't talk to people with my chest. I could not speak up for myself because when I did, it was met with rah. And that made me put a sheet over my head because I'm like, oh, no, I don't like that. That's uncomfortable. I didn't feel like so much aggression was necessary. I still don't to this day. I still don't feel like aggression. It don't take all of that. I don't have to bark at you to talk to you because I was so barked at. I hate to be like that with people because I didn't like how it made me feel. And I'm like, in my mind, how dare I make somebody else feel like that unless necessary, But it shot my confidence. It took me a long time to believe anything I said to anybody, to be able to make anybody else believe what I said. Because I didn't feel like it was right. I feel like whatever I said was going to be shot down. Whatever I said was going to be proven to be wrong. Whatever I said was going to be, stupid. That was dumb. Why would you say that? That didn't make sense. So yeah, it took me a long time to find my voice because I've been quieted for so long.
Yeah, that's deep, Shay. For me, it has affected the way that it has really affected how I interact with other people as an adult. For me, I have a lack of trust. I have this, I'm not gonna ask you, I'll do it myself. And I don't care what I gotta do to figure it out, or I'll pay
Mm.
you to do something. I have this, don't worry about it. I got it. I'm gonna figure it out. It really caused
Trauma
me to
response.
be extra hustler, right? To say that don't worry about it. I got it. Or to just not trust that people are are what they say they are, in a sense of, if people do anything nice for me, it's like, oh wow, like I have um this almost like, and my therapist straight up told me, like, you don't have a lot of faith in people, do you? Like, you don't believe that people will come through for you. And I think that is the biggest way that it has affected me, is that I really don't. I'm working on it. I mean, I've been in therapy for a year now, but I feel like I can figure it out, or I'm gonna hustle how I have to get it how I have to get it. It really it worked out positively in a way, but then also it never allowed me to let the people who really were there and have their best interests at heart really allow them to just do things with it for me without feeling like I have to, like, I have to balance the scales. Like, if you did this for me, like, I got to do it, because I don't want nobody to say that they did something, this. Like, I just have this, I don't have a lot of faith. I don't have a lot of faith in me, in other people. And then it even bled into my marriage, especially when I first got married, because I projected a lot of what I saw in her into my relationship, in a sense of, I felt like for her, all she cared about was like men and the relationships with men. And when I got with my husband, who actually did have my best interest at heart, with him, I always felt like, I know you're a good man, but I still gotta have this, because you ain't finna do me like how I saw, with my mom, and this and that. So it truly has affected how I go through life. I can definitely say that. But the biggest thing is that I did not, and I'm working on it, but I did not have a lot of faith in people. Honestly, I just didn't.
Mm. What about you, Antoinette?
Um, I still struggle with trust to this day, even though even those around me that I do trust, you're not gonna really hear me tell you that. You might hear it every purple. I can't even see every blue moon. I will say it every now and then. It's not often at all. Oh, I trust you. That's something that you're not going to hear me say. It takes a lot for me to let my guard down. Then when I do,
Mm-hmm.
if I do get messed over, I'm like, this is why I keep a guard up.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a lot for me to let someone in, and when I do let you in, I'm expecting that genuineness in return. And there are people I've gotten it from that are still in my life today, and then there are some people that I didn't get it from. There are people that have been in my life for a while that have done things that was kind of like, okay, I didn't see this coming. So that guard goes back up, like, can't let you in, this not about to happen again. I've been hurt by people I shouldn't have, like a parent. So I'm definitely about to be like limited with who I let in. And it's unfortunate because it's like, it's still, sorry y'all, it's still a trust issue for me. So I definitely struggle with trusting,
Yeah.
um tremendously. I struggle with it.
Mm-hmm.
Is your house on fire, sir?
Girl, no, the house not on fire. Now, last my little crazy ass turned around and took the broom and knocked that bitch off. I shook the battery out.
It's
But, so I don't know. So if you see me walk, y'all excuse me, but that's why. Last week I knocked the damn battery out this shit, and it's still going off. So I'm gonna just have to be on mute while I go handle this. I don't know what's
I
going on, but the house
cannot.
ain't burning down. So if it's
But
on,
there ain't nothing to play with.
First of all, the sixth one. I just want to point that out. The sixth one. Um, his friend just distracted me. I'm sorry. What? So was there a significant question? Was there a significant moment for you that resonated with you, that shifted your relationship with your mother in a good way or a negative way? Like, was there something that just like, I don't want to be like you, like that instant, like it was a certain experience that you had, not leading up to them, but there was one experience that broke the camel's back that was like, I love you for who you are as my mother, the woman who birthed me, but there's something in like this thing. I do not want to be like you, or or you do want to be like her. I'm just asking, like, so is there something that happened in your that you experienced where you was like, no, I would never want to be like you? Antoine, not Antoinette, Fatima, say it because it's like I see
It's
it.
on her.
Oh,
It's
girl,
on her.
the wheels was just turning. I was thinking through the moments. For me, honestly, would be when I got to college and she was supposed to help me with school. And mind you guys, I am the first in my family to ever go to college and ever get a degree. Just being real. And so
Kudos.
when I went to college, she had gotten a lump sum of money from, I guess they had did this process of refinancing, or I don't know what they did, but she got a large lump sum of money and she was supposed to pay for my first year of school. And that's what she was said. That was the agreement. And so when it came down to it, and I'm getting notices like you're gonna get kicked out if you don't pay this, right? If you don't pay this tuition, and I'm bawling my eyes out. And I called her like, you were supposed to do your part. But instead, a motorcycle was bought and all this other stuff was bought, right? Instead of my college tuition being paid. And I called her bawling my eyes out because I'm like, I don't want to leave school. Like, mind you, again, I am the first, right? The first. And so I'm bawling my eyes out and I'm like, they're going to kick me out. Like you said, you were going to pay your part. And this woman basically told me, ain't nobody tell you to go to school. And if you gonna have to figure it out. And I'm not putting my life on hold for you. And it was in that moment. And I was like, oh, really? Okay. And it was in that moment that I was like, I will never, ever make my child feel as if I am that they are a burden to me and that I have to put my life on hold per se for them if they're trying to do something with themselves and if they're trying to better themselves, and to say, I don't really care what you do, figure it out. And I'm away from home struggling. You know what I'm saying? Like, didn't come to no or parent teacher orientations. You didn't move me in no dorms. It wasn't none of that. But this was the deal. And when it came down to it, you said, I'm not putting my life on hold for you. Figure it out. That was that moment for me. I didn't talk to my mom for a whole year. But when I got my first refund, I went to the financial aid office crying my eyes out. And it was the guy there. And he was like, we just gonna look, the best thing we can do is get you some student loans. And we figured out how to get my grandmother guardianship over me so that I can qualify for Pell Grants and stuff. And he helped me, and I will never forget that day. And my husband, he was my boyfriend at the time, sent me his last $100. Like, he didn't even have to, because I hadn't opened up to him about what was going on, but I happened to just open up that day. And he sent me his last of his money and was like, I don't know what this is going to help with, but like, I just hope it helped with something, like for you to stay in school. And I knew in that moment, like, I felt abandoned, honestly. And I knew in that moment, I was like, never, never, ever, ever. And of course, when I got my first refund, who was the first person who had their hand out? So for me, that was the moment I will never forget. I will ever forget. I will never forget that moment, being told that.
That is so goddamn sad.
Mm-hmm. I just want to hug.
Right, like just want to embrace. So Tristy's comment to your story, Fatima, is how did you forgive? Because for her personally, she wouldn't want to have any contact.
So we didn't have contact for a year after that. And then she reached out to me. So for me, it was a process. I think what I didn't truly forgive then, but I think the manipulation came into play of like, again, I feel like maybe I'm crazy for feeling that. Like I am grown technically, right? Like I think it was where the manipulation came in that made me feel like, okay, I can talk to her again, right? I'm young at this time, mind you. So she reached out, we started talking, but she never quite apologized. It was like, okay, acted as if everything is cool again, per se. Um, and so for me, I never quite forgave it until really last year. I mean, a year and a half ago when I started therapy. And it was more so forgiving someone who never quite said they were sorry. I mean, I got a somewhat of an apology a little bit later in life when I had to just break it all down and set some boundaries because I became a cash bank. Gimme, 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 gimme when you didn't help me out, you know, when I really needed it the most. Like I had to figure all of this stuff out. Like everything I got, I had to get it out the mud. And so you were gimme, gimme, gimme. So when I set some boundaries, I bought it back up. And I somewhat got an apology, but it was still in a guilt trip kind of way. You know, like I left feeling like, am I crazy? Like maybe I was overreacting.
That's manipulation. That's manipulation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was last year. It was 2019 when I started therapy and started the healing process that I really forgave. You know. And it still is always in the back of my mind, but I use it as fuel of like when I do have children, it's why I hustle so hard. It's why I go so hard because I would never want to put my children through that. I would never want to say to them, I'm not putting my life on hold for you. Like, I'm just never going to ever utter those words. That's my goal. So for me, that's just therapy, really. Therapy.
Yeah.
Professional.
Fatima.
What about you? Oh, go ahead, Shay. Go ahead.
I'm just asking because me and Mr. Brimmer in the comments want to know, did you give your mama some money?
Let's just be real. Yeah, I did.
Because I would have, and I want to make sure that I'm not like,
because I still did because I had friends in my life who also were young at the time and didn't know any better. Well, that I would hear.
Nope. Save it because that's coming later.
Okay, well, yeah, I did. And even through my later adult years, it was still this guilt trip that would be made, and I still would dish out.
I got you. Enough said. I got you.
Her to answer it because I want to get to Amira's question because it's a really good one. So go ahead and answer yours.
My turn. I don't even know what I'm answering at this point. I got so many thoughts. Ask me a question so I can know because my brain.
The question was, come back. The question was there a moment, an experience that you had?
I'm gonna go. You said it's not like a snowball thing, not something that happened over time. So I can't think of one moment in particular where I was like, yeah, I'm done with you. Because like I'm not done.
Not done.
But just like I don't want to be like you. I don't want to when the switch clicked. I just can't think of a specific moment, but what I can say is that there were specific actions that hit me, specific things that were said that basically it was like I'm here for you and I got your back and and I'm your mom and I'm always gonna be on your team and all of that greatness. But it almost felt conditional because it would be like if it was done her way, it was made to be easier. Here lately in our life has only gotten to a point where she's finally like, I'm letting you be grown. I'm letting you be an adult. I'm letting you, make decisions on your own and figure things out. But early 20s, first coming into my adulthood, that time frame is when I was seeing you ain't straight. You mean.
Mm-hmm.
You mean. And seeing her, and I know we'll probably get into it more later, but seeing her and seeing where she came from, that's when I began to realize what that was for me. So she was around. I'm gonna make this part real quick. She was around, of course, and my grandmother was very around. My grandmother was around just as much as my mom. And to see, layers where things are coming from, early 20s is when I realized, okay, yeah, I need to go a different route, basically. I need to not be in that snowball of whatever it is y'all have going on. I don't want no parts of that. I'm different. I don't want to treat my daughter like y'all treated me and like you treated her like she treats you now. I'm not doing it. So I know that's not an exact answer to the quiz, but there's not a specific moment. There was a specific time frame that made me click and be like, all right, yeah, nah. I love y'all, but I don't like y'all, and I don't like that I don't like y'all. So let me switch up.
Okay. I want to get to Amira's comment because I feel like this. So it says, do you think Black mothers know how to apologize or understand? I want to start by saying I think that I just don't. I feel like Black mothers, and I'm speaking in general terms, not saying that it's a fact, but I just feel like Black mothers apologize in different ways. But to actually verbalize, I'm sorry, or I apologize, and not put a but, or I'm trying to teach you something, or but I'm teaching what the real world is like, or like without that, I just don't. Black mothers don't apologize. And I have a dope mom. Like my mom is pretty dope. I can probably. She said she's apologized a lot. I don't recall. Oh, I thought she apologized. It was like
you hungry? Is
like, yeah, you want to go to the store?
Your friend, you want to invite your friend over to spend the night? That's not no apology. I'm still mad at you because you said XYZ to me.
So it's interesting to kind of like see how you okay, Fatima?
Oh yeah, I was trying to get this thing right. Okay.
But it's like but for me personally, I just don't see that. It's always in a different form. It's like, oh, I bought you some shoes, or I bought you some McDonald's, or whatever, or kind of just roll off and y'all cool again. But to like actually verbalize, and I think what's interesting is now seeing the generation, like the millennial generation, where it's like that our mothers making a conscious effort to like, no, like I apologize, like I was mad for something else, and so I'm going to apologize. And it's like we're trying to be different. We're making a conscious effort to be different than our parents was. What do you guys think of first comment?
Oh, you said what do we think about that comment?
Yeah. Do you think what question?
Yeah, they don't apologize.
Oh, they don't. It's always like you said, but or they just don't say anything at all and start talking again, like everything all good. And starting another conversation. But I think it's important that we hear that you acknowledge something and take accountability, or else we don't think that there's anything, like we begin to think that that's normal behavior. So in my experience, again, I don't think I've ever gotten an apology. It's always not a real one. No.
A talk, maybe a conversation about what happened, even though it may be vague or general or short or something. There may be a conversation, but there's not going to be you know what, I was very wrong for XYZ. I should not have said this to you. I shouldn't have come at you that way because I was actually mad at X.
Something else.
But I'm yelling at you, and you're going to receive this, and no matter how you made to feel, and don't let me receive her anger and say something back. Oh, how dare I? Because that rah, rah, rah I talked about earlier is going to come back out. Who you talking to? I'm just letting you know how I feel, but who you talking? So me being me, I'm going to shut back down, and I'm going to go back in my room, and I'm going to go get my poetry book out, and here I am again, eating my feelings and sitting in silence in my room, and I'm going to go cry in the corner, and nobody's going to know because I'm being too sensitive. I'm being a crybaby, you know. I'm not handling that the right way. You don't take all of it. What you doing? They crying for da. Cause you just told me I'm stupid. What you mean? But I can't feel that. I'm dramatic. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But no, they're not gonna apologize. It's you want to go to McDonald's, you can upsize it. I don't want to upsize it. We'll upsize your head.
I do want to explain. So Antoinette popped off. I don't know if she probably popped back in, but Antoinette is a mother with two boys who do not have contact with her mother at all. Shay is a mother with a boy and a girl, and have a really I would say kind of a volatile relationship with her mother. It's good and it's bad, and it's good and it's bad, but they're cool. And Fatima has developed a relationship with her mother, and she's married and with no kids. I do want to give that context because we're going to start talking specifics so that everybody can know. And also, Shay and her mother are living together at the moment, so that's a different layer of the conversation. Being in the same household as an adult with a mother that has toxic traits. So I did want to. It's not letting her in. Let me. I'm in. So I do want to move forward. And go from here. Have you or how are you? Have you remedied the relationship that you have with your mother? Like now that you understand that your mother is toxic or has toxic traits or all of that. Have you remedied that? Have that become a like, okay, I understand that you have toxic traits. I know I'm not gonna get the apology that I need, or I know that this is not you are a person that maybe we just don't vibe all the time. But however, I'm just gonna have to accept you and just keep it moving because you still your mom and that relationship to me is okay.
Absolutely. For me, at least, when I became a mom, it came. You know, some people as teenage girls don't get along with their moms. I was never at that point with my mama, but once I became a mother, I was like, you know what? I see why you do or did or said some of the stuff you did. I see what you wrong. I see what you were trying to do, rather. But then once, you know, you have kids and you figure out what you like and don't like, how to move, how not to move, because you can think you're going to be one way all day and then have children and your children dictate how they need to be parented, what ends up happening. But it's like after I got pregnant, I felt really, really alone, and she became my best friend during that time. And so I was falling on her for so much advice, like so many, like it's simple as she bought me concert tickets and I didn't have anybody to go with, and she ended up going with me. Like she just became my right hand, and we got super, super close. And then, you know, time passed, and of course I still love her to life, but those habits and those traits and stuff were peeking their little ugly heads back through. And I was like, okay, I remember why I felt the way I felt now. Mm-hmm. Especially like Sequest said, she and I are now cohabitating. And my grandmother is also around. So all of those things that I thought were so unattractive are now in my face all the time. And I'm having to learn how to parent while being her child, all in the same house, making sure my daughter is respecting how I'm moving and making sure I'm respecting my mother. So yeah, I am trying to remedy that relationship, and I'm trying to make sure that we're in a good space, but it's only so much you can do as one person. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm wanting to change and move things around, but I can't make her do anything. You know, her being her age, she's stuck in her ways, whatever. My grandmother's stuck in her ways, and I'm still kind of basically having them same battles. Wow, like I said, have found my voice. So now it's a different dynamic to it, because now I'm giving y'all back how I feel, and I didn't for a long time. So yeah, I love y'all, and I would love for this stuff to be great, but you're not finna goop me in front of my kids. Is what you not gonna do. So that adds a whole different thing to it. But to basically sum that up, yeah, I love her and that's my boo, but we still got a lot of work to do. And I think that she's beginning to have a bit more respect for me because I'm like, yeah, no, we're not doing this way this time. So I think that in itself is a remedy.
What about you, Fatima?
So for me, the biggest thing that how have I remedied it? I've worked on me. I think that's the biggest thing is that realizing I can't change her. I can't change what happened, but I can change me and my perception. And I have learned through therapy how to set boundaries with her. And I still struggle with that guilt sometime of like, well, maybe I should say yes just because she's my mom. Like but I have to be strong in that case and say, I can't allow you to use me and only call me when you want some money or like I can't do that. So I also have had to, and like my therapist has really taught me, is just like meet her where she's at. Like I can't expect more out of her than what she can give. And one of the biggest things that I think that I did was I didn't have as many expectations of her at one point. And then when my grandmother died, who was really mom to me, that was my mom. I sort of felt like my mom then. I didn't even realize I was doing it, but that's when I expected her to step up and like be a mother and like call me and we talk. Like when people say like, "Oh, I call my mom for everything. That's my best friend." Like I can't relate to that. Like it could be months before I talk to my mom again, honestly. And it's just normal. And so I had these expectations of like, well, you should do this as a mom, and you should do that, and you should do this, you should do that, and how I expected our relationship to go. Um, and I have learned to just meet her where she's at. I know that we can't have certain conversations. I know that I might not talk to my mom. So I've just learned to embrace the women who have sort of taken me in as, and have kind of filled those voids because the Lord will provide and He has. I've always been very fortunate to have women who have I've never not had a mother figure of some type in my life. Never. So I have learned to just accept the relationship for what it is and deal with her from a distance and accordingly. And I know I can take her in doses. And that's just how I have learned to really deal with it is work on me. And then also the biggest thing of working on me is just also realizing that um parents are people with their own traumas and own issues and I as an adult see certain things and I'm like, ooh, this makes a lot of sense of why you would leave your child and move 3,000 miles away to Mississippi and leave your child in California with your mom for a man. Like I'm starting to see like, oh, so you, when it comes to men, I just starting to see certain things myself now. And I'm like, okay, this explains a lot. So like I think Shay, we talked about in the preliminary talk, it's like I feel sorry for you sometimes. So I have just learned to deal with her accordingly. And it's not completely bad, right? I have just accepted that it is what it is, honestly. It's not,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where I'm at. It is what it is. I know that I will never probably be able to say I have a mom that we talk on the phone all the time. I call her about everything, or I can't say that I will have that relationship with my mom. All I can do is keep working on me, and so when I do decide to have children myself, really kind of change that. But I just can't
Mm-hmm.
say that I have that. All I can say is really I just deal with her accordingly.
Yeah. And it's interesting because like I call my mom for everything. Like I call Glenda and Chiquita because she acts like my mom too. I call them even if it's some things that it's not that I know they can't do anything about. It's just instinctually I'm like, yo, ma, so let me tell you what happened or da 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 da. Da. Like it's just a natural thing. And to kind of just see that that relationship is the opposite, but also understanding that they are human and they were who they were before they had you, and you was just another stop on their journey of their life. So I do want to talk now that we've like kind of like got the basics out the way. We're still trying to get Antoinette back on because Antoinette was with all the smoke today, and so we really trying to get
Baby,
Antoinette
listen.
back on. But there she is.
She's back in. Yay.
He know I was getting ready to
Yeah.
cut. The devil know he could work. I was getting ready to cut the hell up behind that question.
Let me take a sip because she's showing up. My girl not finna
What
play.
happened? What happened?
All I know is like the little circle started populating, so I thought maybe we was losing service, and then that was it. And it took me the longest to get back. Like I had to shut my phone down and literally turn it back on.
See, if you would just told did what I said was go to your computer or something. But you know, y'all
That
hard headed.
was dusty. I don't know if that would have worked either.
What question you was about to cut up on? What question you was about to cut up on?
I think the last thing you was asked something about significant about what your mom did to you that you remember or something.
Okay, yes. What was the significant experience that you had with your mother that showed that you do not want to be like her or anything like that?
My mom didn't show up to my graduation. When I graduated with my bachelor's and my master's degree, she wasn't there. And the first time she was like, "Oh, I'm not coming. Your daddy coming." And of course he came. She didn't come. And then I graduated with my master's and my daddy still came and she did not come.
I remember that.
So that okay, she didn't always done little things that hurt my feelings, whatever, you know what to expect. But when she did that, that was that start of, yep, I'm definitely about to slowly start backing away from her. Because for you not to come for your own personal reasons, cool, I could have accepted that. But when you say you're not coming because my dad, come on now. It don't get that serious for you to miss a milestone like that in your child's life, the only child you have, because your ex-husband is coming. So when my twins graduate, him and his chick could be there. I guarantee you, I'm gonna be right there by their side, cheering them on with no problem.
Okay.
So Antoinette, you do not, from my
You don't like
understanding,
them
you
sitting
do
in the
not have a relationship with your mother at all.
We never had one. Like she don't know me, and my mom probably can't even tell you my favorite color. If she doesn't know, we don't have a relationship. We're like two strangers that deal with each other, that tolerate one another.
Mm-hmm.
So do y'all like communicate on the phone? Is it like Facebook friends or is just a complete exotic?
I put my mom on block September time frame because of a situation that occurred that got really ugly and out of hand. Like I said, my mom's done things over the years, and it's kind of like, okay, Lord, here go Theta. My family says that, but what she just did recently was like, this the cherry on the ice, and the icing and been on the cake. This was the cherry on the icing because now this can affect my children in a whole nother way. So I actually put her on block. So I haven't talked to her in months, and I have not seen her in months. There is no communication at this point whatsoever at all. And I can't even actually say if I'm going to take her off block because I have a peace of mind. But my children are asking to see her. So it's like, what do you do?
But what do you do? Your peace of mind or to make your kids happy?
At the end of the day, my job is a woman and it's a mother, and I'm going to protect my children as a mother. So the block will remain because they have access to a phone. They have their own cell phone, so they can contact anyone in the family that they want on mother's side or father's side. So if they want to have some sort of relationship with her, I will not limit them to it. But they are already aware of the strain and the unhealthiness between her and I. So they deal with her because they be like, we feel sorry for her. We just kind of want to go by me and spend time with her. But then they be like, we ain't fooling with her all the way because of what she's done you.
Mm-hmm.
And they're only 9.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And they're how old?
They're not. They'll be 10 next month. So I don't have a problem dropping them off for them to see her, but I'm picking my babies back up because I need to protect them as well. And I don't trust you. But if they
I
ask to
blame you,
see,
sir.
I will let them to see her and spend time with her throughout the day if that's what they,
Mhm.
because my children are at the age where they can talk. I don't have babies. Mine can talk. They're verbal. And then you call me and I'm gonna turn around and come pick you back up. But if you want to spend time with her, I won't stop it. But I won't have a relationship with her because I'm at peace. And it's something I'm not willing to compromise for anyone, especially not at this point in my life. That peace is something you can't pay for. And when you learn how to grasp it, it's not something you're willing to ever let go. You just not. And it took a long time for me to learn how to get peace in my life and in my home. And that's where I'm at right now in my life. And I'm not about to let that go for nobody.
But
Me. That's a little heavy. Because like the fact that you have peace with your mom not in a picture. You know what I mean? But if that is what you have to do to protect your own mental sanity and your own mental health, then do that. You know what I'm saying? If that is what is needed. But it also is kind of telling of the situation and of the relationship in itself. When you
Mhm.
put your own mother in exile. So, but now that we kind of got the basis of the conversation down, let's start talking. Let's have some real little tea, key. Okay. So, how do you guys feel when people use the Bible to promote
Uh-oh.
toxic behavior? And this is
oh,
what I mean. When people
Girl,
say,
let me make sure this wig don't come off on that question.
Antoinette, go on mute. At this point, Antoinette,
take it off, sir. Take it off. Let's see them braids.
Girl, I got them pop smokes up under here.
Come on.
but how do you guys feel about that? How do you guys feel about people using the Bible to give to allow people to have bring toxic behavior into your life? Like, oh, the Bible says honor thy mother and thy father that the days may be long upon the land or whatever. But what if mama is toxic? What if mama is
I'm
detrimental? What if so am I gonna is the world gonna be displeased with me because I don't because I'm starting because when my mom is around, I start feeling bad about myself. I start questioning who I am as a person. And does honor does honor are we misusing honor? Because honor is like to hold in high regard, but can't you hold someone
That's
in high
what I
regard?
was gonna say.
So what do you
I
guys?
can honor you by giving you your voice.
So first of all, Joan
I'm not
said
gonna blame
let Fatima talk because Fatima about to jump through the screen. So Fatima,
She was.
I
the floor is yours.
guess because most people don't think about mothers being toxic. It's this taboo thing. So when you are somebody and have that kind of relationship with your mother, you constantly hear, well, that's still your mother. Honor thy mother. Like people throw that out there and it's like, okay, but what about what she doing to me? Like, what about why should I take this? Like, and people say that all the time, and because they can't relate, they can't understand. I think one of the things when Antoinette and I was becoming friends, we kind of, not saying we bonded over that, but it was cool to meet up. It wasn't, it's an unfortunate situation, but it was nice and refreshing to be able, when we finally got to that point in our relationship where we could talk about that kind of stuff, to finally have somebody to say like, oh girl, I feel you, and not try to tell you like, because people will have you thinking you crazy, like you are crazy for not putting up with anything from your mother. But let me tell you, baby, when it comes to them fathers, people quick to be like, F him, F the daddies. But oh, that mother, like
oh,
I
that's
think
just your dad.
take that out of context so much, and they use that, and even mothers use that sometimes as like a manipulation tool of like, you're supposed to honor me. I'm the mama. I gave you, and that's a part of what's always been used on me as like that guilt trip of like, I'm your mother. And then the people
Mhm.
who can't understand and can't relate, it's like, but that's still your mother. But it's like, you don't understand what that's like to have to deal with certain things from your mother, the person. And true enough, I wish I could say like, I have that kind of relationship with my mom, or, that I wish I didn't want to not deal with my mom. Right. I wish I wouldn't be in this position, but I'm here. So it just kind of diminishes what we go through when you have that kind of relationship with your mom, when people automatically dismiss it and say like, well, you got to honor your mother. You got to do, I can honor her and still set boundaries. I can honor her, but I got to protect me first. And it took me when I was older to realize like, I got to make sure I'm straight, because if we gonna really keep it a buck, she ain't make sure I was straight all the time. Period.
Well,
So I
it is
gotta make
so.
sure I'm straight. And that's just what it is. And I'm gonna drink to that.
Well, I bet my family learning real quick about how
Cheers.
when to apply that Bible and when not to. They were the type of people, oh, we're just going to do it in the Christian way. We're just going to handle, we're just going to pray for Theta. Pray for Theta. That's fine. We could pray, but we could still state facts and tell her the truth and make her realize and acknowledge where she's wrong and where she's right. Either you're wrong or you're right. That's all to it. But once I got older, like, example, when my mom didn't come to my bachelor's graduation, the family was ticked off with her. They kind of made their comments. Then she turned around and didn't come to that master. When I got my master's, she didn't come to that graduation. Oh, that's when I had certain relatives want to put their foot down and was like, okay, we tired of Theta. We not dealing with this no more. This is just enough. And I'm sitting here like, well, hell, enough been enough when I was a little girl sitting on the doorstep. Enough been enough when me and her almost got into a fist fight. But y'all want to keep saying that holy Bible. Oh, we were just going to pray and let the Lord handle it. Cool, we can let the Lord handle it, but we can handle it too. What's up? Like, we could pray.
Cause
Come
period.
on now. Like, that's why she's so immune and accustomed to getting away with things, because the family just let it go. They stepped in, they made sure I was straight. And I guess because they felt like they always had my back, they made sure I was taken care of. I wasn't in a foster system. It's like, we'll just pray and just hope Theta gets better. Baby, we in 2021 and Theta ain't better.
No, time out. Time out for making excuses for people,
So
because it took somebody else
over here putting you on block and setting
coming
boundaries.
in to say, hey, that's not
I'm
straight.
gonna pray too, but I'm gonna block you and set boundaries, baby. Because that is,
Okay.
and it is unfortunate though. Don't get me wrong. It's very unfortunate, because yes, we should pray for my mom, and I do. I don't wish nothing bad on my mom whatsoever at all. But while we were praying, why we weren't being realistic and telling her this is wrong, this, that, and the other, y'all kind of, you pampered her with it, and you stepped in and did what you were supposed to do because she didn't. But at the end of the day, it actually worsened my mom too in a lot of ways, and it's very unfortunate. It made her worse. So they praying, baby, with that Bible besides they hand, and I'm over here like, hold on, and this one I'm over here down.
Yo, I'm done with her. Take a nap, Antoinette. Take a nap. Take a freaking nap, bro. Take a nap.
Yeah.
I think that's so
Bro.
crazy. A lot of people do that. A lot of people use the Bible to manipulate situations, to promote situations with their own hidden agenda, right? Like it is a caveat to a lot of different ways to move, right? So now that like we kind of talked about, friends showing up, and like Tristy and I have a lot of these side conversations, and it's almost Fatima's back. Welcome back, Fatima. So we talk about friends, and so Fatima made a comment about how Antoinette and Fatima kind of got together because she finally had a friend that could relate to the dysfunction that you have amongst your mother, right? And so, not Antoinette, Tristy and I, as you guys see her in the comment section, we talk because Tristy and I both have great relationships with our mother. And so we was like, in our mind, it's like, yo, but that's your mama. You know what I'm saying? Like, regardless of above anything else, that's your mama. Like, mama over everything. Like, da da da. So, as a friend and as a person as a friend to you all and who has a good relationship with their mother, how should us as friends show up for you as a person who do not have a relationship with their mother, in regards of like, do you guys get offended when people are like, but that's your mama, regardless of how you feel, bump your feelings, that's your mama. Like, how do you guys feel about that type of energy, even though it's not to disregard your feelings, but the social contract that especially Black Americans we have,
It's like,
like mom over everything. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So like not to disregard your feelings, but how does that make you guys feel when people are like, but that's your mama though? She could misuse you. And in a sense, you think like basically you're saying that she could misuse me, she could do all these different things, but that's still your mom. And in our mind, it's not like that. It's just like, but that's my Dukes. So how does that feel to you guys when people use that as like, that's mama?
Hell
I
no.
Like, I don't get offended.
it's
in
not
a-
fair.
I guess I've learned to
Right,
understand, like,
anymore.
they can't relate. They don't understand. But also, I have made it clear, and I started saying, like, I respect that you have a certain relationship with your mom, and I can understand that, and I think that's a beautiful thing. But understand that not everybody has that situation, and not everyone is fortunate enough to be able to say that. So when I'm speaking my truth and my experience. And so, yes, that's still my mom, but understand that you don't understand how I feel. And I've had to say that to friends, like, respectfully, you don't understand what I feel and what I go through because you can't relate, and that's okay. So I just ask that you listen if I'm calling to vent or whatever the case may be, and if that's what your response is going to be, don't say that. Don't say it to me, because I've heard that all my life. Like, I don't need to hear that anymore. I've had friends that have come back down the line after experiencing other things themselves, and not necessarily with their mom, but like maybe their spouse's mom. They see different other relationships that are toxic, and they have come back and be like, okay, wow, now I see that there are some toxic mothers out there, and like, I now see what you meant or what you were saying, and like, I apologize for that.
Yeah.
So I have had someone say that, but I have definitely said, like, you can't relate, and that's okay. But understand that everybody has a different experience. So this is my experience.
Okay.
Hell no. I don't
I
get
agree with
offended.
that 100%.
Antoinette is in there.
Yeah, I don't get offended by far. Go ahead, Shay.
Isn't it like, Mary, look.
But I just,
You know what?
I just,
I'm gonna let you finish because you finished strong.
No,
What you
I'm
saying,
being
Quizzy?
honest, y'all. I don't get offended. I have actually been blessed. I have more friends who have been understanding and very empathetic to my situation with my mom versus, oh, I don't get it. I've only had maybe a few people be like, I don't understand. It's just whatever. The rest of them was like, I don't understand because I'm not in that situation, but I do empathize with you, and you part of our family. Like a lot of my friends, I'm actually close with their moms or
Me
their
too.
aunts or their cousins. I call Fatima mama mom.
Mhm.
So
Which
I'm
is
so,
crazy.
I know, right? I call her mom. One of my childhood friends, her mom's best friend, that's who I call my mama. I've been calling her my mama since me and that girl been knowing each other since 1999. And that's not my real mom. But I have had more friends who be very understanding, and it's a breath of fresh, which is something that I feel like I'm blessed and I'm definitely appreciative of. I've had more of them than the ones that say, I don't, that's just your mom. But see, the
right.
thing with mine is, I always say, I don't have to tell you much. Because when I bring you home to New Orleans and I bring you around Theta, baby, you going to see for
It
yourself.
don't take long to see.
They see my mama true colors off top. All my friends have pretty much seen who she is and how she is. So I don't never have to say much. Because when I bring them home, oh, they find out real quick who Theta is. They find out quick. So I don't have to say much for my situation. They see.
All right. I want to start
Sequez
really moving
can
forward.
relate.
What?
I'm out of wine. Hold on.
Relate about what, Shay?
It's not weird because I feel like my computer is lagging.
It is.
I was just finna say,
I-
Sequez has been to my house, and she is one of my friends who have like like Antoinette said, if you've been to my house and experienced my mother and or my grandmother, if you know, you know. It ain't nothing that could just, I can't put it on paper, baby. If you know, you don't go know. And Sequez and I have been friends for 15 years?
Yeah.
She is probably my only friend that I never got cut out by my mom.
Oh wow.
Never.
I don't know that I can think of anymore. Now, mind you, it ain't like my mama walking. It ain't like she comes home and like, what? But if you there and she got something to say, you're gonna get it too. But for whatever reason, Sequoia has been safe all 15 plus years of our friendship. She ain't never got cussed out, but she is aware of who and how my mom is.
Right.
So your
She
mom
gets it and she
actually
understands.
curses out your friends?
Girl,
Oh.
listen,
Yo, hold on, baby. Hold on.
listen. I remember just real quick. This is about to be like a 10-second story. I remember one time I got cussed out for something, like not washing the dishes or something. And two of my homegirls were over there. Y'all, I had a child at this point, and I was at her house. But I got cussed out for like not cleaning the kitchen or something. And my home, Keitha, and my homegirls were over there. And I got cussed out. They were on the couch in a whole nother room. They got cussed out. And they were like, bro, we just came over here because I thought we was finna go get some tacos. I'm like, well, we can't get tacos till I clean the kitchen or we all getting cussed out. Everybody got cussed out. Sasha, Shakita, in these comments, y'all know what's up. Like, you gotta know. But if you know, yeah, everybody getting it. Ain't nobody saying.
I always found out.
I'm a drink.
Secondhandedly. I always found out secondhandly, like, yo, Shay Mama just went off yesterday, and I'm like, where? And then I'll go over to Shay house, and her mama's like, oh my god, I never.
And I'd be like,
never. Her grandmother is always sweet to me, and I just never.
That's so crazy because you don't nobody
play with.
People don't know. But if you do know, you are very well aware. Like, y'all, unless you're around when you've seen like my wet laundry get put outside on the ground, or if you've heard a broomstick beating on the wall to my bedroom, or if you've seen me get cut off in traffic, like it's been some shit to make you be like, wow. If you know,
crazy,
you know.
though. That's what's crazy is my mom. People would never, because I guess it's a little. My mom's toxic is a little different than your mom, Shay, and so nobody would never know when you meet her. Super nice. She is a nice lady. I mean, I'm just
my mama nice and sweet too.
Which make you think that's why you be thinking you crazy, but like. She's a nice lady.
Like, no, she didn't say that to you. She didn't talk to you like that. She ain't
alone with anybody. The nicest lady. She is truly a nice lady, and and that's why people be also finding it so hard to believe. Like
people are confused. You gonna come to my house, my grandma gonna share recipes with you. She gonna say, oh, you so pretty. What kind of products you use in your hair? She's real nice. My love. Yeah, I would take a bullet for my mama and my grandma. But they crazy though.
My mama don't do that. Her, like Steven said, her toxic is different. Mine the moocher. And they say, oh, take me to the
stove.
Take me to
if you gonna come over, buy me something.
Oh, can you stop at the daiquiri shop? But see, she know which friends to play with and which ones not to. Because I got a few. She not gonna ask them for nothing. Not a biscuit, not a cold drink, nothing. She don't play with them.
Remember that cold
drink. But then I got another one.
Not a cold drink.
Angelica, please stop and give me a state of some rallies on your way, baby. Please, I appreciate it. She's a movie.
She don't ask me no more for much. She don't.
She don't ask you for nothing.
I had to tell her, like, that's not the way, Miss Theta. You have to do something right here in this area.
Like all laughs and jokes aside, I did have to actually have that serious conversation with my mom and say it's embarrassing and it's hurtful because when I go by my friend's house, their parents don't ask me for nothing. Me and my two children, not one but two, can go to their house and we're treated just like family. I have never had none of my friends' family ever mistreat me and my children like that. And I told her it was embarrassing and she needs to stop it. I said, you're always asking for something. And I'm like, it's embarrassing and it's hurtful. I said, because I don't get treated like that, but yet you treat them like that. I said, it's not cool and it's not welcoming. And she was very defensive. She didn't like it. but I did have to make myself have that conversation with her at one point because it had gotten out of control where another friend snapped on her. And I didn't expect my friend to be disrespectful. So I had to have a conversation with my friend saying, hey, that's still my mom. Be careful how you handle her. But I had to tell my mama, you was out of line. And this is not your first time talking to somebody else's child in a manner that was inappropriate. And
Right.
I both talked to them. My friend apologized. Me and that girl still friends to this day. My mama don't play with her and ask her, and I don't even think my mama asked how that girl doing. That was the last time she ever asked her to do anything. So,
All right, so let's move forward because I want to kind of like start going through the questions. So I want to get to how do you think society has conditioned us to stay silent about toxic mothers? Like Fatima was talking about earlier, you know what I mean? We talk about like it's easier to throw away daddy. It's easy to say daddy's a deadbeat. It's easier to be like, I'll rock with him, bump him on Father's Day. We saying Happy Mother's Day. You know, just like on some trivial, but still there. Why is it so easy for us? So do you think that we have been conditioned to hold mom so close to the chest, regardless of if she's toxic or healthy, versus, you know, in society versus in a father or anything else like that? Why? And if you agree to that?
I think it's maybe because mothers are like mothers, like they carry you, they give you birth. More than likely, the mother is the one that's probably the primary
nurture.
Supposed to be the nurturer. And I think that society has such high expectations for mothers, just in general, that you know they don't want to talk about it. It's like she can't do no wrong. Like it's a mother. They are angels. I think society has really painted moms to be like angels, right? But I know a lot of toxic deadbeat mothers too. And it's just that taboo subject. Like even when I was telling my husband we were doing this episode, he was like, "Oh, y'all gonna go there?" And it's like, but why? When we were talking about daddying while black or whatever the case may be, it wasn't ever an issue. I believe if the episode was toxic fathers, it wouldn't be this sort of like, you go. But when I said it, it was automatic, like, oh, y'all gonna go there? Are you gonna go there? And it's like, go where? Like it's you know. So I definitely think that society has put
everybody has something to say.
Yeah, they put them on a pedestal. So we are conditioned, and that's why you like. I think we all three can agree that we all have left situations with our mom and still have felt like, was in the wrong? Like we leave thinking we crazy because that's a mom, right? And we even still struggle with that. And I think society has played a big part in that. Which is definitely.
Anybody else want to comment on that before we move to the next question? Okay. So let's move forward a little bit further. So now that we kind of talk about
I agree. Fatima, we talking. Yes, real quick. I'm gonna keep it simple. Fatima, I'm gonna piggyback a little bit. Weird.
Huh?
Is she fading in and out?
Is it just me or is it Shay?
No, it's
Shay.
definitely Shay. It's like a lag. It's like a
coming in.
lag behind too.
Yeah, Shay, jump out and then come back in if you can hear me. Yeah. Because I thought it was just me. I was like, is it just me?
No, I was thinking.
Okay. So when I want Shay to jump out and come back in, but I do want to talk about. We know that nature versus nurture, right? We know that nature is, you know, the birth and all that kind of stuff, and nurture and all that kind of stuff. So I want to talk about you as a person, as a woman. You are a full-fledged woman, okay? How do you feel that you have, the question basically is, what is your most alarming trait manifested from your relationship with your mother? So like, do you have something that that's kind of like that's kind of set inside of you that you have to be consciously aware of to not bring it to the forefront because that came from your mother? So basically, if your mother is like Shay was talking about rah rah, right? Like she had this anger streak. And so you also have that anger streak that you have received from your mother, but you keep it tucked away because you know consciously that's a trait that came from your mother that you do not want to the world to be aware of. Is there something inside of you that you have received from your mother that is toxic that you try to make a conscious effort not to do or be like? Does that make any sense what I say? Because I feel like I
Yeah,
talk all over.
it's making sense. I'm just trying to think.
Right. Like I really gotta
I've
process
worked so
that.
hard not to be like, and I'm not saying she's completely all bad, right? She obviously has some positive traits and some
Yeah.
good things too, that I have learned from her. But I'm trying to think. I think I've worked so hard to not be like her in the negative traits that I think even at a young age that I'm thinking like as an adult, what's something that I've tucked away? I think I've just worked so hard to be the opposite in that sense. But more so when I think about it from like when I have children. I mean, my mom has a smart mouth and she'll pop off, but I mean, I will too. Maybe that, yeah, that popping off.
What about you, Antoinette?
I my mom can be very mean and very cold. And I now have children, and I have had to catch myself several times because I think I was mean and kind of hurt their feelings. And it was like just a flash before my eyes, like, ooh, that's Theta. Because my mama is mean. Oh, my mama is extremely mean. She nice to who she want to be nice to, but my mama has a very mean spirit. And I try not to be mean. I'm very social, very just, whatever. But if you take me there, I yeah, I could be a little reckless at the mouth, and I won't have no care in the world. When I aim, I'm aiming to hurt, and I'm aiming to hit. Like it's all guns, no filter, no nothing. And I don't. That's not healthy, because when I do that, I'm like, oh, that's hurt, because she's mean. She's very mean, and it's very hurtful. So I try to make sure that I'm not being mean like that, where it's almost like a demonic spirit almost, because she's like I said, my mama can be very nice when she wants to who she wants to, but she has a very mean spirit about her. And I try to make sure that I don't have that with me. Like I try to work hard to not have that one thing like that.
I just thought about something.
Now she has a
What
good
is
work
it?
ethic to be
Go for it.
positive. She has a very good work ethic.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
do get that from her. My mama got damn good work ethic, baby. She far from lazy. She far from a bum. My mama worked to the day she retired, and she only retired to health. So that is a positive thing I can say that I got from her, and I'm very thankful for it because I don't look for handouts, and that's something I did get from her, and I can appreciate that much despite our relationship.
relationship.
Okay. Anybody else want to share?
Hey,
I don't know
Shay.
if Shay is on now, but I know I just thought about something for sure with that. When it comes to men, that is something that early on I had to be careful with because I started to realize that's one of those traits with my mom. I noticed even now in as she's older, I still see how she is with men. She is that person that men are gonna always come first. I think. I mean, again, she left me to go be with a man, right? Like my mom left her two kids with her mom and moved 3,000 miles away to be with a man. And then now that I'm older and I'm realizing, like, even now that she's dating and divorced, I see how she is with me, and I'm like, that is something. When I was young, I had to realize and really say, like, let me make sure I don't allow men to be my driving force in all the decisions I make and the things that I do. And that is why I always, whenever I did get with my now husband, it was like, I don't care whatever plans, I don't care what plans you got. I know what plans I have for me and my career, and I'm going to follow that. And if they align, they align. But if they don't, then oh well, because I saw that it could be easy for me to go that same route. I will say that. The way that she is with men.
Okay.
I have too been in Fatima shoes with that. My mom always put a man first, always. I don't
Mhm.
even want to begin to tell you how many men I saw as a child and even as an
Mhm.
adult. So I know what that feels like.
Shay?
Can she hear us?
Mm.
She's talking, it's just having to catch up yet.
Okay.
The first trait that's gonna come to my mind, honestly, is taking things per. Can
Y'all
you
laughing at me?
hear me?
I can't do it. I can't do it.
No.
I'm mute.
God damn.
Hey, I do the poor meal. Let's get it together. Ernest said all women pop off. First of all, let me tell you one thing about it. Two things for sure. We don't all pop off, okay? I just feel that sometimes it is needed depending on the situation that
Right.
itself. Thank you.
But then you looked at as the villain when you do pop off, like something wrong with you.
Like
You
you
be like,
didn't
ain't nothing wrong with me. I've been holding it back. Something wrong with you, fool.
And when I say pop off, I mean that my mom's mouth can be real treacherous. I don't know if that's the best word. And I got that from her. Like, I'm cool,
I don't pop
but if
off.
you get me
I try
there,
not
when
to.
it take a lot to get me there, but when you get me there, I'm gonna hurt. I want to aim for the juggler.
Trixie said I do.
She coming with them AKs, baby.
I'm
Them
coming to
AK-47
hurt
she
you.
coming.
I'm coming to hurt your heart. Like I really
That's
want
a fact.
I'm
I've got better. I've gotten better.
and that's not healthy, right? Like I should, that's what I mean.
You come out for the jugular because I want you to feel it.
Yeah,
I want you to
feel it. I'm gonna hurt your. I want to hurt your heart.
Shay, you want to try again? Ernest, shut up. What are you talking about?
Ernest said that's every situation.
That's what is Doris' husband.
I know.
Two polar opposites. Shay, you talking or are you trying?
Frozen.
Girl, bye. I'll put her back on mute at this point. Girl, I can't. Yes.
There she go.
It looks like it's good now.
I just don't know what to do at this point. I don't know if anybody can hear me. Hello.
We can hear you.
We can hear you now.
You can hear me? Shut up, because now I can't hear y'all, but I'm going to talk. Don't worry about
Chris, is that your dog? Hold on, is that your dog?
Okay, y'all can't hear me though?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
It sounds like y'all are like a Woody Woodpecker. Like I can't hear you.
We hear you.
Do I need to answer the question?
Secret,
I'm finna answer it. The worst trait, okay, alarming trait. I'm gonna say worst trait. An alarming trait that I got from my mother was that I take things personal. Things that are not meant to hit me like they should hit hard. I feel like, and I guess it's probably going to feed into that confidence thing, but I tend to feel attacked about things. I tend to feel like people are coming for me even if they aren't, because I had developed what I would consider, I guess, a complex. Like, you gonna tell me I did something wrong just like she did, just like Granny did, just like whoever else did. So now every time somebody says something to me, I feel like I'm being told again in yet another way by yet another person that I'm wrong, that I did something wrong, that it wasn't whatever. So yeah, I take things personal. The difference I think though with me and her is that I'm willing to be like, okay, I'm doing too much, I'm tripping, I'm making it too deep. I'll take that and I'll be like, okay, you're right. Let me get out my feelings. I'm cool. Whereas with her, if she does something and I, come back at what she did, she'll take it personal and she'll get uber defensive. Like she'll be like, well, I did it because you so and so and so and so and this like this and da 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 da. It shouldn't have been like that. Versus just being like, you know what? Okay, I didn't mean to make you feel that way. This is not what I was trying to do. Da 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 da. Take that and run with it. Okay, got it out.
Yes.
And you wasn't like,
yeah, you was on point.
You wasn't off sync. Okay, let's
go get my charge.
All right, let's move through because we're going over time. So I do want to talk about this. Does generational gaps play a part in normalization of toxic mothers? And this is why I say that. Because
for the generation before us or the generation before that, like the baby boomers and all of that, right? They're the generation, in my opinion, they're the generation that's like they're the takers, right? Like they're gonna take the job that they can take, they're gonna commit to that job. That job is a good job, we're gonna stick to that job, right? What happens in house stays in house, like that's that generation. And then you have the millennial generation where we're like, if this job is no longer serving me, I ain't got time for it because they can replace me tomorrow. Um, that our uncle is a child molester, and I'm not gonna just be quiet about it. We're gonna call that thing what it is. We're very much more vocal. We're not. And so, do you think that it is a generational gap where we cover? For them it is normalized, like the generation before us, it's normalized to cover toxic behavior and put it under the umbrella of,
Sweep it under the rug.
yeah. But for us it's like, nah, like again,
Not
all of
doing
us have been told not to do this episode. Every single one of us has been told, like, I don't think we're gonna do that, you know what I mean? um and it's being told from people. You know what I mean? So, what do you guys think about that? Do you think that the generational gap is why we have normalized toxic behaviors, and it has been kind of just passed on to us to try to normalize that?
Hell yeah.
absolutely.
Yes, I
Mm,
agree.
yep.
Yeah.
I
Because
know
that
for my family it's a generational thing. My grandmother was the guinea pig out of her siblings. She was the guinea pig. Her mom raised her, don't get me wrong, but it still were unhealthy moments where you could see that my grandmother was the guinea pig. But she definitely was a child that still, what we said before, honor thy mother. She just took stuff and it was hush hush. She never expressed her feelings to anyone. She just dealt with it if you mistreated her. Her and my aunt have an unhealthy relationship. Her and my mom's relationship is the best. I don't know much about why, with the exception of the little bit that my father shared with me about my mom and her mom. And my cousin has always said, I don't know if she's saying it jokingly or not, but she has always said I was gonna be the one in the family to break that generational curse. I have an amazing relationship with my children. I even apologize to my children when I'm wrong. I allow my children to vent to me. We have family time where we be like, okay, what's on, how was our day, what's on our mind, what we like or didn't like, what one another say. I allow them to vent to me and express themselves with a limit because I'm still your parent. I'm not your friend, homeboy. I'm your parent. But I
Period.
do allow my children to vent to me and express themselves. And like I said, if I'm wrong, I'm gonna apologize. I didn't get no apology from my aunt and my grandma when they was raising me. They could be dead wrong. I was not getting no apology like that. And if I did, it was definitely in a different method, a different format. It wasn't the, okay, I apologize. I was wrong for what I said, or I was wrong for how I handled the situation. My demeanor was wrong. I didn't get that. I didn't even get that from my mom growing up. Um, so I definitely try to parent different to break that generational curse, because general curses are real, regardless of what the situation is, whether you was raised by your family or not. They are real, and it is toxic, and it can trickle down like a domino effect. So how I parent my boys, I have old school ways, but I have new school ways, because at the end of the day, I am a millennial too. But I was raised by old school people. So I
Right.
incorporate the two and make it my own with the way I choose to parent now.
A balance.
Yeah,
Right.
it's a balance. A crazy balance, but it's a balance. It works.
A balance. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
I have to agree with Tristy that like their generation just took whatever came to them over with the concept of like family is family. And I also, I mean, I can't blame them because of the times that they came from. A lot of them, they had so much against them. They had, it just was a different time. And so no matter what happened, yo mom could burn you in the face with a cigarette and they'd be like, you remember when mama used to beat us with that extension cord? And oh, that was funny, huh? Like,
We
and then
supposed
you
to
like,
laugh about
no, that wasn't cool. Like they didn't realize that those behaviors weren't right, and it became so normalized to them. So now that you have this new generation of like millennials who are like, no, that wasn't really cool. Like, I ain't really feeling that. Or no, like it wasn't okay that you got beat with a braided extension cord.
Well,
Like,
people crazy
you
now.
know what I'm saying? Like that
Right.
wasn't cool. And so now it's like for us, it's like nah, I don't really want to go that route. But I think for their generation, it was so normal to them, which we can go back to like the effects of slavery and all of that stuff, right? That was normal to them, that I think they have tried to instill that in us, and then they see us kind of resisting that a little bit, right? Because people would still come around their parents no matter how many times they're, like even if Uncle Chester did this, or even if your mom did this, like their generation was just like, but that's family, we gonna come around, we still gonna do it. And we kind of have been the ones that's been like, I ain't coming. I'm the cousin that don't show up. Okay. That's
But they
just me.
considered that being loyal to family, but what they
Yeah.
didn't realize is that it was tearing up people's mental space.
Right.
That whole thing
Oh, okay.
about do as I say, not as I do, didn't help nobody.
It didn't help at all.
It
really
helps
didn't
nobody
help.
because now you have traumatized children who were forced to suffer with whatever you made them shut up about, but they were forced to shut up and never spoke on it again. So unless they hit adulthood and decided to go to therapy or had a
But that's
really good
and
friend to
that's
talk to,
problematic. You know what I mean? Because
It
these
definitely
kids
is.
become adults, right? And these
They have
adults become husbands,
and
become
parents to restart that
wives,
cycle.
becomes parents, and that's how we get the generational curse. And we do understand, like they did the best that they could in the situation that they was given, and they only did what they was given. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So their mom may have been toxic, and they're like you get what you give. So like, how do you make a conscious effort to be like, oh, I'm going to be different? And I think that's where our generation is like, I'm not coming. Unapologetically, I'm not coming.
Oh, I don't come if I don't feel
Until
comfortable.
y'all tell Mookie and them so that he cannot come because he has molested all these people, I'm not coming.
And I got
And that's
kids,
on
so
period.
we ain't coming. Period.
And that's on Mary had a little lamb. Okay.
Okay.
Where
Period.
the money
'Cause
resides.
I
ain't coming.
shared a story with Fatima recently. I have a cousin. Her birthday is Christmas Day, and she came home and she went around her dad's family because unfortunately she lost two relatives right before Christmas. So she went spent the holidays with the dad family in New Orleans, and she was like, I cannot wait to share with our family my experience. And I'm like, well, what happened? She said, I was so happy, so at peace, and enjoyed my birthday and enjoyed my holiday. And I said, oh, okay. Because for me, this is no shocker. Because when our immediate family get together, it's always some bull. Always. It is so unhealthy and so toxic. You can't even enjoy yourself because it's too much unnecessary. And I use that unnecessary foolishness because no family is perfect. Everybody has mess, but it'd be unnecessary foolishness. And she enjoyed herself to the fullest that she does not think she's going to host a holiday no time soon at her house. I don't blame you. You should have been did that.
You got
And
a
I
chance
don't
to
mind
let
going
you.
around my family, but if I don't want to go around, I ain't going around because I
I
don't
don't
want to be
come if I don't feel
bothered with the
comfortable.
unnecessary mess, the drama, the toxic comments, the toxic demeanors. I don't want to be bothered with that. I'm not
Yeah.
expecting you to be perfect, but if I can eliminate unnecessary mess in my life, I'm going to do so. Because at the end of the day, I have to take care of my mental. If I don't, who's going to take care of my mental? Who's going to take care of my children's mental if I'm not mentally stable to do it myself? So
They
I
not.
sit there and say, I ain't coming. And that's
That's
just
they
all to it.
generation still came. They generation still did this, did that, and we just not. And it's lonely when you are that curse breaker a little bit because nobody, they look at you like, oh, you think you're better, or oh, you this, and it's like, nah, I don't got time for that. So I think their generation, yes, to answer your question, Sequoia, yeah,
Right.
the generation that is a big part of why toxic mothers have been able to be toxic for so long because they have played a big part of sweeping it under the rug. But they not
Yeah.
it's easier for them to say what the dads do or don't do.
Okay, so we have the last two questions. We want to wrap them up, guys. Wrap it up. Keep it quick and
She's
simple.
trying to say
I'm
what
really
time.
talking to all three of y'all. I can't really pinpoint, but all three of y'all. Simple and quick. I want to talk about one. Well, somebody making a little noise. I don't know what it's like bubbling sound. I don't know what it is. You don't have so Fatima, you do not have children. Shay, you have two kids, and Antoinette, you have two kids. So how does it not understand the relationship that you have and had, because it could have gotten better or worse, with your mother? Really quick, what is that for you when it comes to kids? Like Fatima, did that make you apprehensive to having kids? Antoinette, does that make you were you nervous? Or Antoinette and Shay, like were you nervous understanding the relationship that you have with your mother when you found out that she was pregnant? What was that moment for you and how you wanted to do it differently?
To not be like her. And a lot of times I have to catch myself because I'm guilty of it. I overcompensate. I am the simplest things. I'm just trying to do extra because I want to give them the life that I didn't have. And it's not to say that my life was horrible, but I went through some stuff. I went through some stuff that I should not have went through. I had witnessed some things at a young age that I should have never witnessed. And it's unfortunate, even though was fortunate to never go to foster care because I had family that took me in. However, I overcompensate to make sure that I have the lifestyle that I ever had. And I try my hardest to not be like my mom. So I pride myself on effective communication. I pride myself on, hey, if I don't I feel like I'm wrong. I've actually went to Fatima a few times about something that I was like, I don't like this and I don't like that. And she'll be like, Ned, hey, I'm not a parent, but this, that, and the other. And she broke things down to me and it was like, it hit me. And I'm like, I don't kind of like that. But she wasn't lying. So I had to put my feelings to the side and accept what she was saying because it was true. Just because she's not a parent don't mean I don't value her honesty, her perception of it. And she was right. So I had to put that into my parenting to learn how to incorporate that. So
Okay.
if that answers your question somewhat.
Yeah.
Like I try not to be like my mom the best that I can. So I try to definitely parent different from how I was parented.
Yeah. What about you, Shay? You have two beautiful babies.
Ain't they beautiful?
On
um, I think for me, the effect that my relationship with my mother had on me as a parent is that the downside of it is that I am the worst disciplinarian. Because for me, that falls in line with confrontation and aggression, and I'm gonna talk it out. Babe, why did you do that? I don't like that. Versus sit your ass down. I rarely cuss at my daughter.
Lord, I
Because
need to get like that.
I don't like, I did not like
Antoinette
the feeling.
Lou.
Uh,
I didn't like the way it felt to me. So I'm not super, super disciplinarian with her. Now, mind you, I am aware that is a little girl. So I know, the boundaries that need to be set with her. I know what needs to happen to keep her from going super left. But I don't like people say all the time, can't nobody say nothing to Kinley without you saying something to them, because I'm a defend her because I ain't feel like nobody was defending me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna defend her and I'm gonna ride for her. But I'm gonna tell her when she's wrong, and I'm gonna make sure she understands what's good and what's bad, what you should and shouldn't do. Now I got a little boy. He's spoiled. We're gonna see what's gonna happen. He only won, so I don't know what's gonna happen right now. But I can totally see me being wrapped around his fingers. So I'm praying that I'm able to buck up on him because I feel like I am. He's sweet though. He good. He gonna make me.
Not at all. I think you're being
girl,
delusional.
send him to New Orleans. I
Um,
help y'all, baby. I help
Girl,
y'all.
I think you're being
I need
completely
the
delusional. But I do want to ask Shay a specific question because we have had conversations without going too deep into our own personal conversations. Um, and Kinley is soft. Kinley is very soft. She's very, very personality, much personality, but very soft and very extremely affectionate. Um, and so you have said quite a few times like that makes you nervous because because you want to be the complete opposite of your own mother. So you just shower her with so much love and affection. So how do you feel about that? Understanding that delicate, that's a perfect word. She's very delicate. How do you feel about because you want to be so different that it may have caused her to be too
too
soft?
soft. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's honestly exactly what's happened. Because I was trying so hard not to be super aggressive with her, I've caused her to be super soft and super, like, if I yell too hard, she'll cry. Um, I fall in the middle of that. So it's hard to teach her to, I can't teach her emotion, but what I can teach her is how to handle her emotion. So what I'm
Mhm.
trying to do as a mom is be like, this is okay. This is not. It's okay to feel, embrace your feelings. I believe in operating with your emotion because I think too many people try to be so logical that they don't touch the emotion. So basically trying to make sense of how they feel instead of just letting it feel and letting it go.
I'm working on that in therapy. I'm working on that.
It's a real thing. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, yeah, I've made her very, very soft because I got soft. So I'm working on basically just having her understand, hey, sometimes you gotta suck it up. Cause the world gonna eat you up if you go into it thinking people gonna be soft on you. That's not gonna be the case. Mama got you. Mama soft on you because you're me. You heard my heartbeat from the inside. I understand, like we're a thing. But the world is not gonna feel that. So as a mom, that's when I jump in and say, hey, listen, I got you, but everybody else might not. And this was real.
Yes.
And Fatima, you don't have kids yet. You just have Buttercup. You know, Buttercup is her dog. If you guys didn't know,
Girl, Buttercup is a child.
it is. So you are a dog mom, but you and David do plan on having kids at some point. So, what is that relationship with you for as far as like the relationship that you have with your mother? And did that hinder you from wanting to have kids? And what do you want to try to do differently?
It has hindered me from wanting to have kids. Obviously, I'm in my 30s and don't have children yet, but I think it is a part of why. I think I'll just be honest. Is why I have the strongest birth control out. Okay, because I
Okay, you
want
guys.
to. Girl, I got the next Planon, girl. Got the next Planon. I ain't getting pregnant yet, okay? So it's why I have the strongest birth control out. But really, too, it has made me apprehensive as to having children before being completely healed. And so I know you'll never be completely healed, and I know it's never a right time, but I feel like it has made me go into overdrive of trying to prepare to be as not perfect, but as healed as I possibly can be before I bring a child into this world. Like I am like, I gotta go to therapy and I gotta work through what I feel about my mom, because I think somebody also said it in the comments too, like learning that they are just humans that have their own shit that they put onto us. And so having that understanding and trying to have a little bit more compassion in that and forgive without ever having a sorry. And then like I believe it's Monica is saying, like, we didn't say I love you. We didn't have that affectionate. My mom, I can count on my head how many times I may have heard her say I love you or love you as an adult, right? It didn't happen. And I am in my relationship with my husband the complete opposite. Like we're like lovey-dovey, like love you every day, blah blah blah. And I think even for him with his things, like we both are just, I think we've tried to over prepare almost too much, and it has really pushed me back. Like every year I'm like, okay, maybe I need to go ahead and have some babies, and then I'm like, nah, because see, so for me it's like I'm hustling so hard to like build a certain level of wealth and go to therapy and be healed and make sure that they have this home and make sure that I give them this life that I didn't have or felt like what I was missing, as a mom. And I'm naturally like the mom friend, the nurturing friend. I'm gonna fuss and all of that. Like I have those nurturing traits and tendencies naturally. But I am scared. Like I feel like, oh my God, am I gonna be like a horrible mother? Or, am I gonna do those things without realizing it to my child? And I'm like, no, my child will never ever have to worry about is school gonna be paid for. And I think that's what is my drive. Like I think I grind for kids that aren't even here yet because of the relationship that I've had with my mom. And not only that, my father has been incarcerated all of my life, right? I'm 31. My dad has been in jail for 30 years. Okay. And then my mom in that situation. And so I have just worked so hard in over preparing a life for kids that aren't even here yet. And I think it's why I keep pushing it back, because I never feel like I have it yet. I'm like, okay, I'm not there yet. And I
I
know
thought you have an oops
right
baby.
time. Huh?
It's gonna be like a oops baby. It's gonna be like you did not prepare for it.
And see, because I keep trying to plan,
I bet not be
my
45 and she asking the queens
relationship
to
with my
babysit. That's what
right.
better not happen.
My parents had the situation with my parents has really played a part in why I have not had kids yet. Why I have worked so hard. And that's why I've always worked like this birth control gonna be on point because I ain't having them yet because I ain't ready. Because I really don't. I want to be able to tell my kids I love you because if me and my mom says like love you or I love you, it is so awkward. Like I don't want that. Like it feels so awkward. I'm just being real, y'all. Like we didn't say that. Like and that hugging and kissing, like we didn't do that. So like I don't want that for my kids because I feel like that's what I needed. And so that's why I'm trying to work on me. But it has played, it's probably about 95% of the reason why I haven't had kids yet.
Okay. I okay. So I want to move forward to our last question. And the last question is, and I want to ask you guys, have you spoke to your mother about how you felt in regards of how she raised you or that experience or that you felt that she was a toxic mother? Have you guys had that conversation? And if you have had that conversation, what was that conversation like and what was the result of that conversation? We want to keep it quick, but have you had that conversation with your mother? What was that conversation like? Was it awkward? Was it uncomfortable? Was she in denial? And what, as Fatima said, Kristen, and what came out of that conversation? And Fatima take the whole glass. So I'm going to pour me a glass while Fatima's pour her thing. So how was that conversation?
Who going first?
Fatima,
I'm about to hit
obviously.
the bottom on that question.
Okay, so for me, I have had that conversation. Have I went as hard as I probably should have, or have I have attempted to have these conversations, and I have left the conversations feeling like, well, maybe I am crazy. Like maybe, it wasn't all bad. Like even right now, we talked about leading up to this, like struggling to feel like, well, I'm starting to think through like she wasn't all bad, and I'm like defending different things because I have left the conversation feeling like maybe I am crazy. Like maybe what she did or said wasn't wrong. Because then it was like I've attempted to have them, and I feel like every time I left feeling like, wow, okay, I probably shouldn't have said that. And then you walk or you kind of care about their feelings. It's like, but that's still my mom. I don't want to hurt her feelings by saying this, because if you talk to my mom, she feels like it was a totally different childhood than what I know my truth is and what I felt I experienced. And in her mind, you cannot tell her that she didn't raise me and she didn't have me and that she was not the perfect mom. And I left, and it was denial, and I left the conversation feeling bad that I even brought it up, like bad that I even said anything, and then questioning myself about my experiences and the things that was said and done to me. I left questioning myself, and they never went anywhere. And honestly, that's where therapy came in at.
All right. What about you, Antoinette?
Girl, I need some crown for that question.
Well, you've been drinking all day, so you can use the residue that you had for the whole to answer this question.
I'm gonna keep it short. We had a conversation years ago. I want to say I was in the 8th grade because I was going to live at the time. We had to sit down, and when she opened her mouth and said, "You hate me," and I looked at her, and she was extremely in denial. When she said she hate me, that shut that conversation down because it struck a nerve, and I felt myself getting pissed off. And I was like, I will never sit here and allow you to look me in my face and say, I hate you, because that doesn't excuse or justify why you, as the mother, as the parent, did not raise me. I'm not looking for an apology. I was looking for an explanation at that time, at that young age. Why was I not good enough? Did you not want me? Did you not love me? Do I remind you of your ex-husband that much that you hate me? I was looking for an explanation at that point, not an apology. But she was like, "Oh, you hate me." Like she came in on a defense, like I was the one in the wrong. Like, chick, no, baby, you wrong, not me. You neglected me. So at that point, I was done with the conversation. I didn't want to hear no more. I felt myself getting pissed off, and things between my mother and I get very heated, and it's very unnatural. When we go at it, everything starts flying out like be this, be that. We've almost got into a fight.
We
So
have
at
to.
that point, I left it alone. We have never ever actually revisited that, and I'm 32. We have never revisited that conversation to this day, and that happened when I was in junior high. I don't I don't think I have an interest in it because my mother is in denial. In her mind, she raised me. She didn't do anything wrong, and I need to get over what happened. So because she's not there mentally yet, I don't want to resurface old feelings, old thoughts that I once had that I've kind of just buried.
I feel
I'm
you on
already
that.
working on me. I'm getting ready to go back to therapy. I don't want to revisit that because that brings up that's a whole nother person that needs to stay where she is. I don't need that in my life. I don't need to go back to that person. So we've never revisited it, and I don't think we ever will. And
Hmm.
I just have to accept it for what it is because she's in denial. She doesn't feel like she did anything wrong to me.
Hmm.
Wow. Okay, Shay, and lastly, we're going to end with you. You on mute.
Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah.
Um,
My thumb ain't open.
I have to bring up the fact that I'm the oldest living of four siblings. It was actually five. One passed before me. My younger brother passed one in 2016, right? He was 23 at the time. Me visiting a conversation with my mom about parenting, it has happened because she was very heavy about it when he passed. What did I do wrong? Feeling very guilty, feeling very, like, what could I have done? So I've had the conversation with her and I visited it a few times since then, but it was never, hey mom, I think you're toxic. It was, mom, you have qualities that don't work for me. I understand that she got her qualities from her mom. So I talked to both of them. As an adult, the older I get, the more verbal I am with them. Y'all ain't straight. These things are not okay. I have things that aren't okay too, and I'm willing to admit those. But in talking to them about those issues, visiting that was a very, very sensitive subject for a while after my brother passed, but it was very necessary. She was bringing a lot of it up. So the door was open for me to be like, hey, these qualities weren't okay. He acted like this because of that. I acted like this because of that. So to put it bluntly, had we had that conversation, yeah, we've had it in so many ways. It was never direct me saying, hey, mama, I don't agree with you being toxic, whatever. But it was, I'm not going to say sugar coated because it was real, but it was very eggshell. You know what I'm saying? It was very touchy. It was very like, you know how I feel. You know what I'm saying. I'm just not being, straight up pen to the paper about it.
Yeah.
And her response to it was very, back then when brother first passed, it was very sensitive, she was ready to hear it all, receive it all, because I think she was looking for some closure at that time. But, time passed after he passed, and people get back into their ways, and now it's more of a like, well, hell, y'all understand how I am, basically. You understand I get it from my mama. Yeah, I got some stuff that ain't right, but hell, you're going to deal with it or you might, type of thing. It's myself, 14-year-old twin siblings. I had a 23-year-old brother. I have a 10-year-old daughter and a 1-year-old son. All of these people are impacted by her ways. So, yeah, the conversations have been very necessary. Have they come to pass like I would have wanted them to at this point? No. I think there's definitely more work to do. But do I think she's open? More now than before? Yeah. Completely? Mm-mm. She's still a little in denial. She still don't understand how I feel. She thinks I'm dramatic. But it's
Well,
out there though.
I want to thank you all for uh, having this conversation. Um, that I think is so needed. It's so interesting because Sequez, the vocal Sequez, because it's easy for me to be like, I just can't see myself letting anybody like handle me. You know what I mean? Like handle me, mama, brother, sister, cousin, auntie, or whatever. But it's easy to say that from standing on this side of the road. Um, but I just really appreciate you guys' honesty. Like it was amazing to be so honest and transparent and to tell your story. So we are coming to my favorite part of the show, which is the champagne toast. And so for the champagne toast, thank you for first of all, this is the longest episode we've ever had. And I appreciate everybody that stuck through. So we come to the champagne toast. The champagne toast basically is a takeaway, what you took away from this conversation, what you learned, what you felt. It's a moment to just to be as honest and transparent as you can be, and you just talk about what you learned from today. Um, we're gonna say what you have to say, and we're gonna toast to you. For the people who have alcohol left over, or if you don't. But so we're gonna come to the champagne toast of the conversation. So I'm going to start with Antoinette since she is a newbie to the show. So Antoinette, you're going to say what you learned or what you took away or what you enjoyed from the show, and we're gonna cheers to you. So the floor is yours.
Hmm. I took away just being honest with myself today. I do need to go back to therapy because I'm not all the way healed. Um, and I definitely want to make sure that I parent my children in a very healthy and safe way and not let my past affect any of my relationships with my children, with my friends, with anybody I decide to get into an intimate relationship with. I don't want it to affect that. So I do need to know that self-awareness is key. And I took that away, and it's time that I go back and finish properly healing along my new journey I'm looking forward to. I always love hearing other women's stories, other men's stories. It's always empowering to me and enlightening. And like I said, everybody's story is a testimony because you got some people, their situation is going to be worse than yours, and some people's situation is not going to be worse. But you can always learn something from somebody else and just grow from it. It's just a blessing to be able to hear other people's story. So I definitely enjoyed hearing from the other two ladies, and yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Shay said quite a few things that she does with her children. I'm like, oh yeah, that's me, baby. That's me, with the
Well,
exception of
cheers
cursing
to you,
about food.
Antoinette. Cheers.
Yeah. Oh, I ain't got nothing left in my glass, but yeah,
Because you've been drinking it. You've been drinking it.
girl,
Um,
I have been drinking.
Shay, what's your champagne toast for the night?
And so then my cup is empty too, baby. That means we meant what we said, all right? Um,
Okay.
I just want to say that I can appreciate each of you all's stories. My takeaway, my line that I have spoken with y'all in the prequel, and anybody that I told about this podcast today is that you cannot heal what you do not reveal. And I came into this thing feeling very nervous, very like, what if I look away? What if no, I can only speak for me and mine. I can speak for myself. And right now, I am my children's voice. And we will not succumb to other people's issues and other people's, traumas. I'm trying to break cycles and break chains and show my children better. I came in here saying I want to bring light and love, and that's what I intend on taking home with me. So I can appreciate y'all for telling y'all stories. We're all trying to figure this thing out. Mommies or not, you have a mama, so you know how life works. So thank you, Squares, for the platform. Thank you for giving us a space to speak our truth and know that we're not wrong. I am not wrong. That's a lot for me. I'm not wrong. That's enough
Oh,
said. So thank you.
cheers, Mama Sita.
Cheers.
Yes, that's growth.
Whoa.
Hassan Barnes, girl.
I think for me, it was definitely needed because it was more so validation. Like you walk around and you really think that you're crazy and you start to make excuses for your mothers and the things that they do because it's not all bad, right? And that's kind of what is that hold that they have over you because you're like, well, this was good. And so I think it was really good to have my feelings validated almost. And also just learn that um mothers can, they did the best that they can do, but they're human with their own issues and own things. And now I have to work towards making sure that my storms don't get my children, my future children wet. And so I think for me, the biggest takeaway is realizing I still have a ways to go. And I still have some work to do. And I probably should continue therapy. Because certain things that I thought I was over completely, I might not be as over. And so I just have to keep doing the work on myself. And it was really good to have this platform and share my story, because if people don't know me, they don't know, they just wouldn't know by just talking to me or looking at me and knowing my story. And so I struggled doing this episode in a sense of I was just like, but what about, what if it gets back to her that I did it? Is it going to hurt her feelings? And I'm learning now that I just have to speak my truth and speak my experiences. And if it hurts her feelings or anybody else's feelings, then she has to deal with that, because I've dealt with it for however long as well. So it gave me the chance to just speak my truth. And I am appreciative that I was able to just speak my truth and just say, like, this is my experience, and not feel bad about it, because I definitely struggle leading up to this of like, well, how can I say this to not paint her? I worried more so about how she was going to look in her image. And so once we started talking, it gave me the opportunity and the ability and the platform to just say, you know what, forget it. This is how I felt. This is how it happened. And I am just going to speak my truth however it comes out and not worry about anybody else. So that's my takeaway, is you just got to walk in your truth, and you just got to walk in it and work on you, because that's ultimately the only person you can control.
Cheers. Yes. My champagne toast is I've realized always to my friends, like, because I just as I know that you guys know, but to the people that listening, I was very like, okay, my main goal is to protect their integrity at all costs. Like, um, if you guys don't know, I did a psychological and emotional safety meeting with them prior to this episode, because I'm like, I just need to make sure that they're okay, like what their mental is going to be on, and like it was super important and imperative for me to make sure that they were mentally sound and okay, to be honest. And it was like, girl, nothing off limits, especially Antoinette wanted all the smoke, like, she was here for every single thing. And so I was like, wow, okay, they trust me to make sure that their message is conveyed. But and I'm like, okay, how am I gonna do this? And I was like, okay, I'm gonna make sure I keep my eyes on the comment section to make sure nobody's talking out of pocket. I just wanted to make sure that they were safe at all costs. And you guys did it. And I'm so proud of you. I know that it was very nerve-wracking. I know that it took a lot of strength, because we were conditioned to always protect mom at all costs, like mom over everything. You know what I mean? Even if we didn't feel protected, even if we didn't feel safe, but mom didn't protect us or make us feel safe, I'm going to make sure that I protect mom and make her and protect her integrity, even though she didn't protect mine. And so the fact that you came from an honest and transparent space, I'm really appreciative and grateful. And I'm so happy that I finally got to able to meet Antoinette. It's great to Aunt Fatima always talk about Antoinette all the time. And I'm like, this girl from New Orleans, like, who is she? Because I mean, like, who better than me? And I'm like, okay.
I'm here, baby,
But
live in the flesh.
she cute your vibe. So it was dope to finally get to meet you and stuff. That's super cool. So my toast is to all of you guys and to the people who listen, and you things that were said resonated with you, and you've walked away with some sort of healing or some sort of clarity or whatever it is that you got from this conversation. I cheers you as well, because we are a community, and we need each other regardless of anything else. We need each other. So cheers to you, and cheers to all of you. I really
Okay, so listen, yo, if y'all listen to the episode, um, the voting episode, and we talked about we talked about Kamala Harris, right? So shout out to Tristy. She told me not to say her name, but listen, it says she made me this shirt, and it was like, hold up, okay, America, wait, America doesn't deserve, right? And then on the back it has Black women,
Yes.
and it has like Kamala
Yay.
Harris. It has Kamala Harris on there. It has
Yes.
Harriet Tubman. It has all these amazing prominent Black women on there. It has
Yes.
Shirley Chisholm, all of them. So this is, and also she has Champagne Conversation on the sleeve.
Wow, I
Okay.
love
Shout
that.
out to Trisha
So
Boy.
this is kind of like a what's the word? A kind of like a mock-up of the shirts that we're gonna have on behalf of the Champagne Conversation. So we're gonna have a couple of shirts made or whatever. So America doesn't deserve Black women, and y'all know how I am. I'm such a womanist.
Yes.
Okay,
Love
I'm
it.
such
I
a
ain't mad. I'm
womanist.
loving it.
So we're gonna have shirts popping off soon as well. So Tristan told me not to put her name, but I did tell her name because she did it and she fired up it.
Cause she lit.
Okay.
Also, I want to say Shay has a makeup line. She does makeup and makeup artistry, and it's called Slay the Shay Way. Fatima,
Hey,
but
Cute,
first of
cute,
all, let me
cute.
let y'all do your own thing. Antoinette, do you have any business ventures that you're doing?
Not at the moment, girl. I'm just working on self-care and investing in me to secure my future. Taking a few classes to get me set up for that.
yes, ma'am.
Period.
Got it.
Shay, what you got popping?
Real quick, I have Slay the Shay Way Cosmetic Artistry. I have Zumba with Shay Dance Fitness. And I have Shots and Shakers Mobile Bartending. Holla at your girl for a good
Oh,
If I
time
need that, you
inside
ship.
or the outside. What's up? Period.
shots and
Shot.
shakers.
And Shay is in
Yes.
the Memphis area.
I'm in Memphis.
Okay.
Olive Branch, Trust, and all that. Holla at me.
Okay. And Fatima, what you got popping on?
I just have the Ambition Academy, and
I just have.
Yes.
The
Yes.
that's the most
hustlers.
recent. It's just a coaching and consulting where I've more specifically niched down further just to help beauty brands launch and create and build a sustainable business that will give them profit. And if they're struggling in their beauty business. So that is really what my niche is. And I am launching my new program next month, the Beauty Boss Accelerator Program. And it is specifically for beauty and wellness brands who want to launch and make money selling their products, but they have to want to build a premium brand. Not you. If you're looking to be the cheapest, that's not it. If you want to build a premium brand that lasts, then that's what I help with. So that's what I have going on at the moment.
I have boss friends. Okay. Very info. Also, ladies, gentlemen, whoever's on the comment, if you have a business that you want to promote, put it in the comment section or whatever. Tappity tap tap tap. Let's promote one another. Also, I don't know if Brandon is in here, but also don't forget that we have a Swift Minute that's coming soon to talk about what's going on in the political climate today. So that's happening on Instagram. He'll be putting videos up every week about what's going on, especially if y'all know what popped off on Wednesday.
Woo.
I, unlike other people who was all panicky, I was sitting back, keying, okay,
With my socks on.
looking at these thugs, climbing, being monkeys, climbing walls and whatnot. I found it as a key. So, if anybody want to sit, I'm struggling being beautiful. You have a great value type of plan, basic mothers like me. What is Tristy talking about? What is she talking about? I'm struggling. Tristan, what you talking about? You are beautiful.
She
And
is gorgeous. What is she talking
what is she talking about? Girl, bye. Anywho,
about?
thank you so much. This is the longest episode we've podcast live we've had. So my ladies, I need y'all to stay on. But to everyone else,
thank you so much for joining in and rocking with us. You guys been freaking amazing. Please know that we go live every second Sunday of each month. Shout out to Fatima reminding me of this episode. But thank you again so much, and you guys have an amazing night and a safe weekend. Also, wear your mask. Wear your mask. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.